I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Damn, Daniel.
Daniel.
Back at it again. What's up, man? Welcome back to The Button Mappers.
Thank you for having me. Great to be back on. Nice to see you guys again.
Absolutely. I'm expecting nothing less than essay-worthy content today from the essayist himself.
Oh, only the best, I promise.
Also, welcome, Spencer. Spencer, welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, they have their own thing going, so I figured you and I could start a thing here. So.
Okay.
Alex, two conversations.
It's been a while, but I'm excited for the game today. I think we got a really good show, and it's glad to be back.
I'm glad to be back too, Spencer. It's good. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you guys are getting along. As for me, hi, I'm Teddy. Okay, cool. All right. So, hey guys, today we're going to map out Shadow of the Colossus for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and maybe one day the PlayStation 5.
I played it on the PS5.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the PS4 version is backwards compatible.
Yeah.
All of the above, but you can't play it on the original.
No.
Sucks for PS1 owners.
Yet.
Waiting for that demo.
I would love to see that. Unironically, I would love to see that.
Isn't there that
Cool.
one game? There's like a game where you're taking on giants. It's like an indie game, but it's isometric, like Jotun or something.
Bug's Life.
Bug's Life, yeah, that's it.
That makes a lot of sense.
There was a Bug's Life on PS1.
See, exactly. See where I'm getting at?
It all goes back to EDF on the SNES.
Did we even say which game we're playing? Did you say that earlier? Or...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure.
For PS2 month. This is the map out for PS2 month.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
playing Shade of the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I played Shadow the Hedgehog.
Sucks to be you. So, for those that don't know, a map out is a series where we kind of map the game out from start to finish. In the case of Shadow of the Colossus, it's very unique. Instead of mapping terrains per se, we'll be mapping colossi, and it's going to be big. Let's just say.
Colossally.
For the record, we've said about 50 Colossus jokes before this podcast started. I think we're all already burnt out. So if you're like, hey, there should be more puns, like just understand that there were plenty behind the scenes.
But if you do want more puns, where can you go, Alex?
Head on over to the Discord, and Teddy will list all of the Colossus puns. And jump on over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can climb up the podcasts and stab them in the face.
That's what I do with all my podcasts.
Hey, make sure that if you're a viewer on YouTube, you stab that subscribe button.
Oh, that's a good one.
And
like
ride
that.
your horse over to the notification bell and all that. Make sure you...
Just like ride past it, just like smack the bell.
There you go.
I go!
Beautiful. And also be sure you stab your way on over to Daniel Santos Analytical Editorial Reviews YouTube channel, as well as his podcast, Essays and Espresso.
Oh, deep cut. I didn't expect you to bring out the Essays and Espresso cast too. Thank you. I appreciate it.
His next episode will be on Shadow the Hedgehog. I'll be happy to be there.
Hell yes. Hell yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Oh, yeah.
I'll be sure to get a Shadow made espresso blend just for you that occasion.
Hey, since we have the expert on espresso here, what's the best coffee to play with Shadow of the Colossus?
It's got to be a dark roast of some kind.
Yeah, what pairs well with Shadow of the Colossus?
It's. I guess it's gonna have some sort of like raspberry flavoring to get like just a bit because of the red frills that he's got. So
I was thinking like
I don't know. Coffee
Ethiopian.
and raspberry kind of tastes nasty though, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if we gotta stay. If you gotta commit to the bit.
Then coffee and raspberry. Oh no! What have you done?
That's so gross.
You asked for this.
I know.
You're
Colossus.
like a Sumatra.
It's that you gotta go fast. You gotta do it in one gulp.
Oh, hey, there you go.
There you go.
That's shady.
Oh,
Shadow.
yeah, it is. God, you guys with the puns are killing it.
It's just Teddy. It's just Teddy.
Yeah.
Just me.
Don't give me the credit. I don't want it.
Man, I love bad puns. So the more you dish out, the better in the books you'll be with me.
Oh. Then be prepared.
I'm on
Did I just
duty tonight?
did I just unleash a Colossus with that one?
You sure did.
If
There
you
will
want,
be multiple colossi tonight.
asking the button mappers for a bunch of puns is no tall order. I assure you.
Oh, this is already going to be a good podcast. I can tell.
Also, tall is the size of a drink you can get for coffee
At Starbucks,
at Starbucks.
Yeah, you're a basic bitch.
which is ironically short. You want a tall, and it's a small.
It's
That's the hipster thing. Yes, I'm drinking my tall coffee.
It's like every size of Starbucks means big. It's like
it's true.
Just so you can say you drank a tall coffee fast.
Every size at Starbucks means big except for the big size.
well,
Yeah.
well, except for short, but nobody orders short.
So if you really want a big coffee, you should head on over to. No, wait, we already did that. Okay.
That would have been a good segue, though. Damn.
Well, you should
Missed
stay
opportunity.
tuned because we've got some big coffee in the works for you today. Starting off these map bats, we like to start with kind of our history and our experiences with the game of question, and the game of question is Shadow of the Colossus. Let's start with you, Daniel. What's your experience and history with Shadow of the Colossus?
Okay, so I played the original PS2 version back when it came out. I remember distinctly remember being in a store, a Target, and I saw it, and I think I remember reading about it in a Game Informer magazine and going like, "Oh yeah, that's that game. It looked pretty cool." And it was a greatest hits copy, so I got it for $20. I took it home, and I wore that disc out. I beat that game multiple times. I beat it on normal. I beat it on hard. I beat most of the colossi on the speedrun modes as well. Like, I just played the shit out of it. And over the years, it's just a game that's always stuck with me. It's a game that I've always thought about. When they re-released it on PS3, I beat it again. When they re-released it on PS4, I beat it again, actually, on a live stream. I beat the whole thing. Unfortunately, the live stream is gone. I don't know what happened to it, to be honest. But I beat the whole thing during the live stream. I wasn't even planning on doing that, but I just know the game so well that I was able to beat it in one go, which I don't think I'd ever done before. But this is a game that I always return to. It's never left my mind because there's always something about that game that there's, you can always come back to it and unearth something new about it. There's a different way to look at it, a different way to play it. It's just a wonderful game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I've beaten it multiple times. I'll probably beat it a few times more.
Beautiful. Would you do that live stream again?
Why not? Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do it for us.
I'll do it for the Button Mappers crew. You
Hey.
guys can join me. We'll do
Yes.
it together.
We'll race, you and I.
Sounds good.
Me too. I'm playing Shadow the Hedgehog.
You'll 100% Shadow the Hedgehog. Get all the memes.
Shadow of the Hedgehog.
Shadow of the Hedgehog.
That's my favorite Colossus. The Hedgehog.
My story's a lot like Daniel's. I got it when it came out. This game was a masterpiece then. It's a masterpiece now. I've beaten it on every single PlayStation platform except for, main console platform except for PS1, obviously, because it didn't come out. So I've done PS2, PS3, PS4, and now PS5. because of this. So, always been a phenomenal game. It's always kind of sat by itself as a like. There's not really any game like it, so it's just kind of on an island that nobody really dares to touch. Which I guess you wouldn't, because it's such like a very specific gimmick. But it's a great game, and I was so happy when we decided to play it.
Awesome.
My story starts back in the year of 2000. I don't know, something before the internet. Before I had access to the internet. I had a subscription to PlayStation Magazine, and I got the demo disc that had Shadow of the Colossus on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I remember playing that demo. It's just the first fight, but I remember playing that demo over and over again, and I was very young. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, there's like nothing I've ever played a game like this before. And I remember for years, again, I didn't have access to the internet really, so I would just look in stores and be like, do they have this game? Where's this game at? And finally, one day, I was at a Kmart with my dad, and back in the clearance aisle, I found a copy of this and a copy of Jack X actually the same day. And I was just like, Dad, I was like, if you buy me this game, and I was just like, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll whatever. And he was like, okay. So he bought me this game, and it was like, that was like one of the most standout experiences. Like, I remember playing that game on PS2 to completion and loving it. So oddly enough, I didn't play the re-releases until this map out. I played the PS4 version. I think mainly because I had such a deep nostalgia for the PS2 version, and I'm also scared to go back and play the PS2 version because I know it doesn't look as good as I remember it looking. Daddy?
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Daddy, what's up?
Not much, you?
Yeah, we're good.
What you playing lately, Teddy?
Little SMT3. And I beat Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh,
hey, wow!
What'd you think of it?
Yeah, first time. First time for everything. No, it was good. I had a blast from the past through Sonic 3D Blast. Let me be serious for a second. Let's not talk about Sonic 3D Blast.
Fluggy's Island.
Shadow of the Colossus. So back in the days, my story is kind of sacrilegious compared to all you guys's. But I was like, I mostly owned Nintendo stuff. I owned a 64, owned a GameCube. I did buy a PS2 in like 2008 or so, and then I had to sell it along with all my other stuff, getting ready for college. Before I left, one of my like two good friends from high school, he had a PS3, and he gave me his copy of Shadow of the Colossus. And I was like, oh wow. Like, that's awesome. And like, I don't have a lot of like close gaming circles, and it's just like one of those few things that was handed down to me. Now, I did sell most of my stuff, but I never sold that because it was like personal to me and it was a gift or whatever. But I didn't have a PS2, so when I came back home from college, I was gone for years. I was in Hawaii, and it was still there in my closet along with like very few other games, and I kind of just had it and like didn't really play it much. And then over the past 2 years or so, a big goal of mine has been to reduce the collection more so to games that I will finish and play. And so my PS2 collection, I think I had like 30 games on the console, but I had only finished Katamari Damacy. And so it was like, this library has got to go. And so I was selling most of the games. The PS2 copy wasn't selling for much, so I brought it down to the laundry room. Somebody picked it up, and they brought it back to the laundry room. And then Spencer and Alex are like, hey, guys, let's do the map out for Shadow of the Colossus. I'm like, I just brought this game to the damn laundry room. Are you kidding me? It was still there, though, so I went and I got it back. I played it for a little bit, but it was getting like real glitchy on me at certain points. Maybe the person upstairs was like using it as a coaster or something. I don't know. But I did go ahead and just download the PS4 version, and I cleared it that way. So that's my experience.
I love that the only game that you completed was Katamari Damacy.
It was worth it.
Hey, that's a great game.
This is phenomenal.
Dude, the music for Katamari Damacy automatically makes it 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. That's how Spencer in the shower.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
What? Spencer in the shower? What?
Let's move on. So going to the first order of business, let's just talk generally about how the game opens up. You guys can just kind of fill in the blanks, but essentially if you let the game roll for a little bit, you get like kind of a cinematic sequence of the bridge. I remember booting this up and just being really wowed. Even on the PS2 version, with the HDMI upscale. Like it looked really good, but then on the PS4, it's just another story. And you see the main character, Wander, in Japanese it's Wanda, kind of stroll in on a horse carrying a maiden. He brings the
Wanda.
maiden. Her name's Mono. Does not have mono, but her name is Mono. Puts her on the altar, and you can tell something's up. She's pretty pale. You guys want to fill in some of the blanks?
Well, yeah, she has mono.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't have the manual,
That's the
so
plot.
I'm trying to get rid of mono. Yeah,
It's gotta be stereo.
That's why it's so hard to cure mono.
yeah.
Because
Stereo.
it's like you take it to a doctor and you're just like, how do I cure this? Like, well, there's 16 colossi.
Yeah, I think it's trying. And...
So if you want to hear the game in its true authenticated form, you actually have to beat it first. No, Mono is dead, and that's why she's so pale. And Wander is, I think he gets kind of like encompassed by a bunch of shadows, but then he's holding up this sword, and he shines a light on them, and they start evaporating. And then there's a voice coming from above. Who's that voice coming from?
That's Dorman.
God.
He is. He or she is like a deity of sorts, and basically, Dorman is like, "Hey, buddy, I can help you out, but you got to help me out. Scratch each other's backs. Not sure if you really want to do this, though. That's something I always thought was interesting about Dorman, was that Dorman was like, not, you sure you want to do this? But ends up, obviously, Wander's like, nah, I got to do this. Got to save my girl. Although, that's one of the things I really like about Shadow of the Colossus. It's kind of implied that this is someone that was in a relationship with him, but we're not actually told if that's the case. It's something that you can infer if you want. I'd say that's a valid read, but it could just as be likely that she didn't even know him. But we'll get into that later. Basically, the story is there's 16 Colossus, and you have to defeat them, and the deal is that Dorman will bring Mono back to life.
He just found a Degro. He's like, well, she's hot. Red light. I always loved, if I could animate, I would animate this. I always wanted to like animate a joke video where like instead of it being like a deity, it's just some dude like up on the roof just yelling down. Just like played like a prank.
It's like, dude, kill the Colossus for me.
Just get him.
Kill the tiger.
Fucking do it.
Don't worry, they're not going to hurt you.
It's all good, bro.
Yeah, it's a good synopsis.
It really hinges on ambiguity. A lot of it is kind of up for interpretation, leaves some missing, cues there. I think one of the standout lines for me is, Dorman states, the cost will be heavy, and the main character goes, it matters not. And so, I always had kind of a read in there of like, this guy's just willing to do whatever it takes. And, I know Daniel's got a good analysis into kind of the characterization of Wander as well. But you can tell this guy, like, that she's his number one.
Yeah.
And he'll do whatever it takes.
I think we're skipping over the main character of the game, Aggro.
Yeah, aggro.
Aro! I thought you said Aro throughout the whole thing. Maybe it's just my hearing or whatever, but
Aggro is the main character of the game, I'll tell you what.
the internet confirms. it's
Aggro for Smash.
Aggro the horse, who is a she, by the way.
Oh, is it?
It's a female horse, yeah. That's.
Well, I've been correct.
I know too much about this game.
I didn't check the genitalia. So
Yeah. Dude, my camera angles were.
I was trying.
Hey, I was playing the PS2 version, so I didn't get a good look at that.
I don't know that because I look too hard. I know that because
Okay, good.
I wasn't like, where are them horse nuts?
I ain't wearing them horse nuts though.
I think the creator confirmed in an interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Got it.
Still the main character of the game.
Yes. I agree.
Strong female protagonist.
Yeah,
Strongest female protagonist aggro.
Confirmed.
I
Now
mean,
we're-
can put up with like literally anything.
Can put up with me mashing the aggro button 50 times while I'm just walking around.
Aggro.
I wish at some
Aggro.
point if I had that button enough, the horse would just trample me because it's just like, shut up.
But like I think it's interesting because Wander just needs to say her name and she comes. So that already infers a lot about the relationship between the two. That shows that they already have a deep bond because this can't be just some random horse that Wander picked up. Like this is a horse that's been with him through thick and thin.
It's a true love story. Man
That's
and his horse.
The real love story of the game is Wander and Agro. That's right.
No, that's some Kentucky shit. You guys played the wrong game. One thing I really like about this game is that a lot of the transitions are seamless. The transition from the intro sequence, even before the game starts to when you actually start the game, it resumes from where you were on the bridge. And then here, after you get the whole spiel with Dorman, it like kind of pans out and you get kind of behind the scenes of, or behind the camera, behind the shoulders of Wander. And that's when you are set off on your journey to the first Colossus. Spencer, do the honors. Take us there.
All right, you raise your sword. It shines to where the Colossus is. And the first Colossus is your training Colossus. If we're following fans call him Valus.
Mm-hmm.
What,
I don't know what that
do you
means.
call him? What do you call him?
I call him the
Spencer?
first
What's
Colossus.
Yeah,
Oh.
I call him the club one.
the clubbed one.
Yeah,
Clubba
call him like Richmond or something.
from Donkey Kong Country.
Richmond's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richmond.
He's sort of your basic Colossus. He's big. He's got a club, and he's got like a bushy beard that kind of covers most of his head.
He's big. He's in the club. He's got a beard. Sounds like me on a Saturday night.
It's Alex the Colossus. Also,
Can you
aka
imagine?
Valus.
We'll call you that next podcast.
This one's pretty simple. Is this the one where you shoot him in the leg or you stab him? I think you stab him, right?
You stab him in the leg.
Yeah, you jump on his calf and then you stab it. He bends over. You climb his body, stab him in the head a bunch of times, and he's dead. Super simple.
Very straightforward. I think it was the right decision to make him the first one, just because there's just enough like nuance where you can't just jump up, climb him, and kill him. There's a little bit more to it, but it's just straightforward enough where you can like pick up on the main conceit of the gameplay pretty quickly.
I think this is the guy on the cover too. Am I right or wrong? Is that another
Yes,
one?
that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil too much.
This is the guy that eluded me for years while I was trying to find a copy of this game.
Scouring for this guy. He's like, where is he?
Where is he?
Where are the drugs?
I mean, this was the one in the demo, so this was the fight that I knew for the longest time.
Oh yeah. So by the time you actually played the game, you're like, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this. That's the name of this first one. Actually, a lot of it is kind of spelled out. It's literally like directly in front of your vantage from where you start off. There's like almost no real hunting. I do like the process though. Like I'm not crazy about the platforming in the game, but it does kind of teach you a little bit with going in about kind of like getting the ropes. You get to this like little pit and it's like, well, how would I get up here? And you start to learn about like the climbing and the holding on to like the right shoulder button in order to climb up, kind of pushing back to jump across. How do you guys feel about the platforming in this segment?
That was something when I first played the demo that really stood out. Because most games at that point, I think, especially platformers, and stuff like that, it was just like it was obvious, like what to climb, like what to jump on and stuff. This game, I felt like I was like actually interacting with pieces of the environment. Like it felt natural, and I remember that standing out whenever I was younger, and being kind of like, "Whoa, like games could do that."
Yeah, like it's not like highlighted and like
Yeah, exactly.
turning orange.
It's not like fucking Omo Chow and Sonic Adventure is not like, "Hey, Wander, jump over here, push the A button to jump across the gap."
It's like, wow, you could do it, little feller. Just do it.
No, it was just like the game was like. I mean, hopefully you're smart enough to figure this out.
Yeah, it does have like triangles to jump, and that's pretty much it. It just gives you the button command of like, this is how you do it, but it expects you to figure out, for yourself how to actually progress.
One thing that was tricky for me was like hanging on the ledge and like aiming back to jump across. It's not a big issue here, but it comes up later.
Yeah, it's a little awkward, admittedly.
I think one of the issues that we'll see later, but it sort of doesn't help with the platforming in this game, is the camera. I don't know, just still, it's not bad considering what the adventure is, but it still oftentimes leads you in the wrong direction. And sometimes that aiming on where to jump backwards can be a problem because the camera is not cooperating with you.
Yeah, because it's based on your positioning. So, and that positioning is affected by the camera. So sometimes it can be a little awkward of like, and if you can't see Wander properly, it's like, wait, is he actually doing the animation? Is he going to jump? And then maybe you'll jump to like a completely opposite direction. You die.
Yeah.
I have a kind of a story. Like, so when I first started this up on PS2, I was actually getting frustrated because like, he would swing his club down, and then you can grab onto the club. So I was like, oh, that's the right move. You have to grab onto the club or the arm or something. And then I was just getting stuck, and so my stamina would drain. I'd be like, what the hell am I doing wrong? I kept jumping up there. It wasn't working. But then I found out, oh, you guys stab him in the leg, jump off when he falls down, then climb up his back. And then another thing, when I figured that one out, was like, I didn't realize you had to hold the square button to charge up the sword, so I just kept like just pressing it. Nothing's happening.
You're just like,
So the lack of tutorial kind of screwed me up a little bit there. I spent like 25 minutes trying to figure that out. But then when I came back and I re-downloaded the PS4 version, 5 minutes, like from start to finish, even just crossing out there.
Yeah.
So not a bad boss battle at all.
yeah, I think it
Definitely.
works first.
Definitely colossal, some might say.
Not all of them are colossal, but that one's pretty colossal.
Pretty colossal, yes. Cool. That's Valis, aka Richmond.
The first one.
Richmond.
Yes.
Richmond.
He looks like a Richmond. I don't know.
So real quick, the developer name for that one was Minotaur A.
Ooh.
Hey.
Oh, I like that. Cool.
And if you think about it, his legs are kind of like, hoofs in a way. So it kind of makes sense. Not a traditional Minotaur, but it has Minotaur elements.
And he's the first one, so the letter A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Minotaur B.
It's there.
He's there. He's waiting for you.
Oh, we'll find out.
We good to go
Spencer.
to the next one?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to do? Okay. And
Yeah, just be the boss guy.
okay. Okay, I'll handle the bosses, guys. You guys do the rest.
Okay, boss guy.
Okay, I'll do the levels.
I'll be the guest.
Yeah,
There you go. I'll do the salamanders.
All right, our
No, I
number
won't.
number 2 is Quadratus, according to the fans. It's the second
real name,
Colossus. It is just north of the Shrine of Worship, underneath the Great Bridge at the bottom of a giant canyon. It walks on all fours, probably why it's called, like the fans call it Quadratus. And it bursts out of a wall, which is pretty cool. You got to shoot its feet underneath, and then you can climb its back and kill it.
I think I prefer Harold.
Yeah, Harold's good.
That's a solid name.
Yeah. Good name for a man.
Bust through the wall. Who dare disturb Harold?
It is I, Wanda. From WandaVision.
Yeah, from WandaVision.
So I think Quadratus also works well as like an early Colossus because Valis was more about teaching you how to climb and use the sword, while Quadratus is more about the utility of your bow as well as using aggro during the fight, because you couldn't use aggro in the previous fight. So it's teaching you different skills for And I think in doing that, the game's got its bases covered in like the first two colossi right away. First Colossus, climbing and stabbing. Second Colossus, horse riding and archery.
Aggro.
Aggro.
I remember this being like one of the most epic moments when you first start playing, because the first one's pretty basic. This one, though, having to shoot the feet and having to use aggro, it just gives it like a sense of like epicness and stuff to really start to. This is like, to me, this is where the journey really begins, is with this fight.
I also like that it's map wise. It takes you the opposite direction and sends you over that like land bridge, which to me is just so iconic of Shadow of the Colossus.
Everybody wants to cross that bridge first. That bridge is awesome.
This is so cool. You're like, you're running across it with aggro, and you're looking over the water, and then your eyes immediately go. You see the beach, and you're immediately like, oh, that looks cool. I want to go there, and that's where the Colossus is. It's so smart the way they designed that.
Very romantic. You and your horse.
We also
on the beach.
We also get our first. I mean, we got the glimpse earlier. Jesus. We also got the glimpse earlier. But here we get to physically explore it, and we get our first sense that there's like a world here, which I want to say, like, I am a sucker for post-apocalyptic scenarios. I anything that's post-apocalyptic, I love it, and I want to see what they do with the world. And this might be my favorite example of post-apocalypse, because we also don't know anything about the past. Like, usually it's like our post-apocalypse, and you're like, oh, you went to a building and they have computers there, and they're like, yeah, these are, what do you call it? Like rocks that hold words in it or something.
Yeah.
But in this post-apocalypse, we're just as confused as he is, maybe more. So I love that it's just like trying to figure out what they were trying to do with this weird world.
Well,
yeah, because there's a lot of structures and stuff in the game. There's just like pillars that are clearly ornate, and it's like, what the hell used to be here? What did people used to do here? Wanderer probably has no idea. All he knows is that this place is the Forbidden Lands, and people aren't supposed to go there. So yeah, I think you're on point. Like, we're kind of just as much in the dark as he is, and I think that's really interesting.
The dormant voice is also really interesting. You can go after me. The dormant voice is also really interesting because it gives a little preview of each Colossus. This one, it says like, this one slumbers in the lake, and it's very cinematic too. It really does push the envelope with the PS2. When you get down there, after you go down like the bridge and the long kind of along the wall segment, and you follow the light to where he is, he just busts on out of the wall. And you see like all the wall crumbling and everything. So cool sequence.
Yeah.
I was gonna make a dumb joke, but it's already passed. I was gonna say, Spencer, if you like games with apocalypse, Shadow the Hedgehog starts mid-apocalypse, so you can actually jump into that game. And
Daniel, were you gonna say something a second ago?
If I was, it was deleted by Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh no! Alex,
like most things are, because he's the ultimate life form.
And what's Yoshi?
He's too powerful.
He lost control.
Shadow the Hedgehog is the ultimate life form, and what is Yoshi? Does he like sweets or something?
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he likes melons or something.
Watch them.
From Yoshi's story. Yeah, in Yoshi's story.
There was. I was laughing at the Sonic and Mario 2020 Tokyo Olympics or whatever, because you get like character cards. And it was like Shadows, ultimate life form, born upon the space colony Ark, blah blah. And it's like Yoshi's card was like Yoshi likes fruit.
Watch them race.
That's amazing.
What a good batch of fruit will do for you. Keep you on par with the ultimate life form.
Spencer, you remembered that. You're doing good in your old age.
Yeah, it's not much I remember nowadays, so be thankful that I caught that one. The spider webs in my head.
Well, clearly your memory retention is for all the important things.
Absolutely. Speaking of memory, this is one of the more memorable early game Colossi.
I like him.
Named Gaius by the fans. This
yeah,
is this guy resembles a knight, and it's on the top of an arena.
I wasn't
This
done with
guy-
Mammoth. You guys.
This
Oh,
guy
okay.
is.
Okay, what else did you have to say about
Oh, he's hairy.
her?
No, I thought it was Henry. What was his name?
Harold.
Oh, Harold.
Harold. There we go.
Get it? He's hairy.
Anyway, it's on.
That's unintentional. Oh, aka pun intentional. Spencer, wait, no, I'm not done. Come on.
Okay,
I
okay.
thought that was stupid. I didn't like shooting his feet. I thought that was lame. I
Why?
thought that was a cop out. I don't know. Like you could just barely see his feet. I did like using the bow and arrow, but like the shot radius is tiny, and it just kind of felt a little basic. It felt like an easy next boss, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was as impressive as you guys did.
What do you expect? Dark Souls? Like
Yeah, the Dark Souls of PS2.
You wanted more.
Colossus.
You wanted more counter rolls, backstabs.
Souls of Colossus.
I see it more from like a functional standpoint of like it works really well in regards to like this is still it's still like in the tutorial phase, I guess you could say, and the game is still teaching you. So like it's teaching you a couple of things. One, that you can fight the Colossus on your horse. Two, that you're going to need your bow and arrow, and it's also going to teach you that not to be observant of the Colossus, because like even their feet is something that you're going to need to pay attention to. You're going to need to look at these Colossus from multiple angles if if you want to defeat them. So personally, I think it, especially in regards to it being an early Colossus, it goes a long way in training you for like the tougher, more challenging ones later on.
Which is precisely why I think it's kind of forgettable in the long run,
So
especially compared to what we will see.
You're telling me riding the horse and shooting your bow isn't like
You don't even
cool
have to
fucking
ride the
thing?
horse for that boss.
But you can.
You could do it. Okay, I know you like the horse.
I don't do. I don't
You
ride
have like the whole the boy and his horse narrative.
I ship them, dude. I ship Wonder and Aggro. That's my favorite.
I don't ride the horse when I fight him. I just jump off and start my shooting.
I wish the horse.
Yeah. Technically, you don't have to be on the horse. That is true. It is more about the bow and arrow than anything else.
Welcome to the horseback riding segment. Hey boys, you can ride aggro.
Aggro would ride me if you know what I mean.
Going by to the old saloon.
I busted on through and grabbed me some Mammoth whiskey. It was a good time, me and this Colossus.
Spencer, take us to Gary.
Gary.
Oh, we're going to Pokemon Red.
Gary, aka Gaius, for the fans, resembles a knight. Its lair is a tilted arena in the middle of a giant lake. So getting up to it requires a little bit of platforming. And don't fall off because you'll have to swim for like an hour.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
This guy's one of the most iconic ones because he's so cool. He's really tall and he's got his sword. And at first, I'm sure for a lot of people, their first time, like it was for me, at first you're just like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, because this guy is like, he's huge. You can't climb on him like you could the other ones. So, again, going with this idea of like the early Colossus are like more so tutorials. This one, I think, is like the final test of like, all right, not all the Colossi you can just immediately jump on them, start climbing them. You have to really think about it. You also have to pay attention to the environment because this guy, you got to get him to hit his sword on the plate, and then afterwards, you can jump on his sword.
And
replaying, I actually forgot what I was supposed to do. So I ran around for a minute trying to like climb. I was like, what the fuck do I do here? I was like, I don't remember how to fight this guy at all. I know the area, but I was like, what am I supposed to do here?
Don't you hate that moment where like there was something you figured out when you were younger and you forgot, and you're doing it again? You're like, how did I figure this out?
Yeah, I was like 9. How did I do this?
Was I smarter when I was 9? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think environment for sure, and also destructibility, is that you can see that the Colossi aren't completely put together. Like you can break pieces of them to manipulate what you want to do. So
Yeah.
The
Dude,
platforming's sick.
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 yeah,
Well,
this
when
is probably the first.
Yeah, when you're
instance.
like hanging on his sword, when he like smashes it down, you grab on, you're hanging on it. When he brings it up, like that to me is always like an iconic moment for me because it's like, I think that's one of the first moments where you feel like, whoa, holy shit, like this is so cool.
I forgot this about the mammoth too, but it has 2 sigils. The first Colossus only had 1. The second one technically has 2. You have to go to the head and then the back. But this one, you actually, like, he swings the sword down, he breaks it, and you could technically do that whole platforming sequence and then not be able to do anything because he didn't chip the armor. But after you do that, then you climb on his head, and he's got one on the underbelly, and you have to like
Yes.
kind of like crawl your way down and get to the underbelly. So this is like a really multi-phase boss, and even just the crawl up, to the like platform in the sky. There's something kind of biblical about this.
Can we bring up my fan theory now? That Wander is actually a precursor to Spider-Man. Because how the fuck does he hold on for dear life like that?
He's gonna get arthritis.
Yeah, he's crazy. They'd be fucking flinging him around. He's like, whoa!
It's like the Sam Raimi movie. If you zoom in, there's actually like these little things in his fingers.
Pizza time. No, I always thought the stage would be like the coolest Smash Bros. Stage. Like,
Oh,
it's
one
such a
that like
fucking-
walks around and moves.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Yeah,
I love this area.
I give so much credit to this game for being so ridiculous and at the same time kind of seeming realistic. Like
Yeah.
it somehow manages to be like, oh, he's like holding onto his hair and that's how he stayed on, and he jumped over here. It didn't look like he jumped that high, but he made it. But it really, like, it is ridiculous, but it's also, it's like almost like I could do that. It's crazy.
From what I've read, what's the guy's name? Ueda?
Fumito Ueda.
Ueda? Yeah, Fumito Ueda. He settled for nothing less than perfection in terms of hirings. So he would hire only the people who really understood the physics and how things played. He wanted it to feel very real. And so I think that translates really well. Obviously there's limitations, with, PS2 and obviously the shaking and everything. It gets repetitive, but it really does feel like a whole venture. Every single Colossus is its own puzzle,
Yes.
and this one, my thing is I don't know if I could enjoy this the same as my first playthrough, as my first experience as each of these Colossus, because that whole process of discovery and figuring out what to do is just so memorable.
That's a fair point. That is, I don't know if I'd go as far as say it's a flaw of the game, but it is an element that, it's not going to be as special if you go back to it, because part of the fun of your first time is figuring it out, is going like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get up there? Like, wait a minute, I got one sigil. It's really something special.
Welcome to the Button Mappers Top 10 Most Realistic Games. Number 10,
Shadow the
Colossus.
Hedgehog. Oh,
Number 9, like Gex or something.
Bubsy.
Gex or something. You played Gex?
Fucking Gex.
Number 8,
Other
Shadow the
Gex.
Hedgehog. Yeah,
Stay tuned for 7 more.
There is, I would agree there is like a fun sense of discovery that is kind of hard to recapture when you go back and playing this game. But at the same time, I also like the whole like idea of like doing the speed run of this game, because it does kind of make you feel like a badass when you can run in and just kind of take down the Colossus in no time. So I think there is some still value in like playing it.
Yeah,
I
think the way it goes, the first playthrough is the best because it's, playing the game and figuring out. The second playthroughs and subsequent ones are just a theme park.
Yeah.
It just becomes like, oh, I can do this quickly and I can be bolder than I used to be. Like, I can try to jump from his shoulder to his back to his arm or something, like do something crazy. And I think that it's fun that way. It's not as good as the first playthrough because that's the real playthrough.
It's different.
But yeah.
I want to do some crazy shit with the physics, like be just hustling with aggro, and then just like fling myself onto the Colossus, like with this next one.
Oh, I have video footage of a crazy ass trick I did on. I'll tell you when, but I'll tell you which Colossus. But there's a crazy one. I got flown over it and caught its back. It was insane.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Pro
I've never
gamer
done anything like that.
Spencer the pro gamer.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for exclusive Shadow the Colossus flinging tips.
Blink smash. Spencer the pro gamer. Pro tips.
Spencer, the fling master.
That's what they call me.
The fling master.
That'll be your new title in Discord.
Yo, Spencer the fling master. What's up, bro?
What's up, bruh?
Fling us on to this next one.
Are you guys ready for everyone's least favorite Colossus?
What's wrong with those ones? Don't be mean to them.
All right.
You thought you liked horses.
Well,
Yeah, maybe it's my horse fetish coming through.
the fans. I think Daniel
This
has
should
a
be your
horse
number
fetish.
one, Alex.
This one's not my least. It's not my least favorite, but I'd say it's down there.
Fans call it Phaedra. It's the fan-given name to the fourth Colossus. This large horse-like giant makes its home in a vibrant alcove dotted with a few ruins in few ruins. So this one is the horse, and you have to trick it by pretending you're in one hole, and then you go out the other and climb when it crouches.
Go in one hole and out the other.
Yeah.
You're just talking about horses and holes. You're
Yeah.
Get me
Turning
going here.
Alex on.
Welcome to Kentucky. I don't like this one.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I get what they were going with of like, oh, you gotta observe its behavior and you gotta like you gotta hide in the temple and then like sneak up behind it. But it's kind of a pain.
I think they were trying to go too hard onto the realism thing because you really can't trick that thing. Like I'm sitting there on the ledge of this like underground tunnel firing an arrow at it, and it's like, and I go, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sneak around Metal Gear style, and then it's like just walking away. I'm like, come on, like, so I'm sitting there for like 30 minutes, like just to get it to like peep its head down.
I've never had an issue with this one.
Lucky.
Am I the pro gamer?
You're the pro gamer.
You should upload footage.
Yeah, this one, when I upload the footage, this one took me probably 20 minutes. I wasn't dreading any of them except for this guy because I just can't reliably get him to do it. So it's just like trial and error, just poking at him.
I'm pretty sure because I captured my gameplay. I'm pretty sure I got him like first try.
What's the trick?
I don't know. I just fucking led him over to the hole and ran to the other one. Like ran across the thing. I mean, it just worked. I don't know.
Dang. I can't
It
get
just
him.
worked.
The trick is have a horse fetish.
Yeah, that's true. He knew that I truly love horses.
Yeah.
So like the first few times I played this game, I actually beat him the wrong way, I guess, because like you're supposed to sneak up behind him, but the way that I always did is like he has these like things dangling from his
The tassels, right?
yeah, like these tassels or whatever. The first couple of times I played the game, I would climb onto the tassels.
That's not wrong. I mean, it's just an alternate way to do it.
No, yeah, it's just an alternate way, but like it's not the intended way. Like you're supposed to sneak up behind him, but that is another way you can do it.
Pro gamer Daniel over here too.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
A lot of pro gamers here. I'm not one of them.
Not yet. You haven't been christened.
I'm sub gamer.
Yeah, I'm not in love with this one.
Nah.
You can't even hurt you, so it's like really boring.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I think the most interesting thing about it is not even the Colossus itself; it's the ruin. I think the ruin looks pretty cool.
Can I say, doing the PS2 one, I don't know if it's my upscaler or what, but you would go down in that ruin and everything was pitch black. And so I was like trying to feel my way along the walls. It was a nightmare.
Is
But
that the
coming
dog?
back to the PS4 one, it was
Do I hear
no,
the dog Colossus?
that's actually me.
No, that's me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I love that dog Colossus.
Dan, I'm gonna assume, Daniel, that you played The Last Guardian.
Actually, I have not. I did beat Ico, but I haven't played The Last Guardian yet.
Oh,
You were telling him last time when we had him on.
Well, it's a shame that when they made The Last Guardian, they're like, which element should we take from Shadow of the Colossus? And they're like, let's do that damn horse, because The Last Guardian is all based on like another AI.
No, really? Is it about the horse?
Well, not specifically, but it's about manipulating another creature's intelligence,
Genitals.
behavior, and it has similar struggles to this one.
Mm.
So
I thought we were still talking about fetishes. My bad.
Do you want me to move on to the next one? Or?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck this guy. He sucks.
We didn't give him a name. What's his name?
I said
Gerald.
Oh, Gerald.
Gerald's fine. Okay.
He's definitely a Gerald.
Damn it, Gerald. How could you?
All right. Next up,
pacing like that.
for number 5, we have the fans call him Avion.
Here he is, Biophoenix swooping in.
He resembles a bird of prey. This agile colossus is found in a foggy lake, perched atop one of several tall ruins jutting from the waters.
Everything sucky about that last one just got redeemed.
Yep.
This
Yes.
is fantastic.
We go from one of the worst to one of the best.
I love water levels.
You're a Sonic fan. You would.
Everything about it is cool. The arena is cool. The way you fight him is cool. Its design is cool. Like, it's just a straight up banger all the way.
Dude, this is like the moment where like you jump on its wing and the fucking soundtrack kicks in and you're like, it like washes over you. You're like, this is what this game is.
Yeah.
Yes.
This game handles motion so well. You can like feel the speed, you can feel the intensity and the frighteningness of traveling on this thing. Like, you're literally scared running on its back because of just how fast it's going. And oh my god,
Everything about this is ominous. Coming up on that tower, kind of like sneaking through like the murky water. You don't even know what's up there. You come up there, and then it does like the dramatic sequence where you see the bird perched atop the pillar, and you have to jump down in the water from which you can't come back.
yeah.
No matter how many times I play this, every time he like swoops down and charges at me, and I jump to grab him, I always feel like, am I doing this right? Like, am I gonna miss? And like, it's the same thing each time, but there's something about it that I'm like, it just feels very, I don't know, kind of epic and like, kind of like unscripted, you know?
Yeah. And I love how you have to like grab his attention with the bow and arrow first, and you're like, get over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he comes, you're like, wait a minute, maybe don't come over here.
Whoa!
Yeah, you really got to be in control of that camera, because if you're facing the wrong way, you lose him for a second. He might come swooping down and hit you from behind, and that's not a light hit.
No, yeah, he's no joke.
This is
But when you're,
This is an impressive bit of game design, though, because like the whole game is like a lesson in game design. But this was a great thing because they give you that like height, and they let you know like, hey, you can fly on these things, but you're safe because it's underwater. So it's like if you fall, you're just gonna fall in the water. You're okay. So that danger isn't really there, but the sense of it is certainly there. So you're kind of like you have a safety net.
It's tricky though, because even when you're on that thing's back, this is a first lesson in the fact that these things aren't stationary. He does like these kind of aileron rolls as you're going, and and he's got 3 points to hit, one on the tail, one on each wing. The wings are flapping. You can't recover your stamina very well when you're on the wing, so you got to take some leaps of faith. And I usually fall at least once off of this thing.
Same.
I can't usually get it in one go. I'm not a pro gamer like you guys.
I mean, most of the time when I face him, I fall off at least once. Sometimes I've been able to do it all in one go, but like, yeah, usually I fall at least once.
This one is sick too. When you take him down, he goes spiraling down. You go fly, like you just fall off. And then usually like this kind of like black spirit stuff kind of like, just inhibits your body. It happens like 1 to 2 seconds after the Colossus falls. But it's so far away from you. You're actually swimming around like, huh? Like, I'm waiting for it.
That's
you wait a good
terrifying.
10 seconds or so, and then...
Yeah.
I don't like being in big bodies of water in general.
Oh.
So the idea of like that shit like coming out terrifies me.
Honestly, like every time I play the game, not every time, but like a lot of the time, like even though I know those tendrils get you no matter what, I still feel that need to run away from them.
Trying to see how far you can get. Get out of here!
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first Colossus, I was able to actually jump off the ledge before they got me, like back onto the platforming area. But yeah, it's like a little mini game at the end to see how far away you can get from the tendrils.
But this is the one that always gets me. It's like he's stuck in the water, and I'm like, oh no. That's my nightmare right there.
Ugh, I could see it. Yeah, this is definitely one of its best.
Top tier. One.
Very
Yeah, just
iconic.
epic. Just one of the best. Just
Colossal.
this is one of those iconic moments that you think, like, whenever you think back about this game, this is what you think about. You think about flying on top of this guy's back, trying to stab him. Just so exhilarating.
There's a lot. Oh my god, I'm on this site. I don't want to take up all the time, but there's like a bunch of trivia for this Colossus.
Hit
Did
us,
you know?
hit us with it.
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
Avion is one of only two.
No. Give us a did you know?
Did you know
Thank
the fans call it Avion, and it's one of only two Colossi who has a visible mobile mouth. Dirge is the other one. I don't know what that is, but we'll find out.
Of Cerberus? The Final Fantasy game?
Wrong map out. Nope.
Oh God, not that dirge. Not that dirge.
Vincent Valentine?
Yeah, these are all kind of boring. These aren't very good. But if you want to know, you mentioned the music. Upon sighting Avion, Silence plays. It's a song called Silence. That's ironic. And then once you hitch on to the bird, it's a despair-filled farewell.
Yeah, that's a good point. The soundtrack of this game is fantastic. I mean, you wouldn't like put it on your iPod and listen to it on the bus or anything, but like, God, it's good. It's like a movie score.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. You might put it on your iPod. Fucking.
You're allowing us to? I wasn't going to do it because you said I couldn't.
You like how you put your earbuds in.
What's his name? The button mapper fan name.
It's Biophanix.
Oh. Okay. I was gonna call him Hitchcock.
Oh, we could.
Yeah,
Did
that
you hitch a
works.
ride on that cock?
Oh, my God. We got a horse fetish. We got a bird
Cock is a
fetish.
bird.
Yeah. I thought Alex was about the fetishes.
Did you know that Shadow of the Colossus is a love story between a man and his horse?
And bird. And the animals. It's a game about bestiality.
Oh God.
Moving on.
All right.
It's Minotaur B.
Take us to Barbara.
Barbara, a.k.a.
This one doesn't even need a name.
Fans call it Barbara, but I like Barbara a lot more.
Yeah.
Is the sixth Colossus. This bearded giant is found in a remote temple. This is the one where I have the cool thing. Like, he was trying to fling me off, and I flew over his back and then grabbed onto his back.
Oh shit!
Interesting.
Pretty wild.
Did you like grab his beard and he flung you or what?
I don't think I was on his beard, but I'll have to relook at the footage. It'll be on the. You'll be seeing it now.
This
So.
guy's a straight headbanger. Like you grab.
Whoa!
onto
Look at that!
him.
I'm sorry. I was reacting to the footage that I can't see. Because it's in post.
He was only crawling down the wall at this point, but okay.
Yeah. And so in this one, you're in like a weird. You're in an indoor like arena, I guess, indoor town or something. We don't know. Like we're just
Yeah,
kinda
a
guessing.
ruin, a temple, or something.
And he charges through and breaks shit, and you have to jump onto his beard and climb onto him.
Limp Biscuit. It's like a Limp Biscuit break stuff.
So kind of
Is
an
it?
interesting tidbit about this boss is that originally it actually had a club. And I'm not totally sure why it was removed, but at some point during development they were like, nah. No club for this guy.
So never made it in. Not even to the original.
It didn't make it to the club.
No, it didn't make it to the club. It was revealed, like, because people have been data mining this game for so many years. And recently there was like an earlier build that leaked that people found, and in it, this was like a few months before release, like 4 or 5 months before release, something like that. So still far into development, but early enough where there's going to be notable changes, and it had a club, and nobody knew about this until pretty recently.
And why
This
was-
is another one with beautiful cinematography. What'd you say, Alex?
I was gonna ask, why was it removed? You know, like
I don't know. Maybe they just thought it was unfair because like when you start the fight, you're running away from him and you're trying to get to the other side. So I guess maybe the club gave it too much range, and he was able to.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The fists are
probably
big
why.
too. I mean, this thing hits you. Like I got hit a couple times. This is like I was saying, it's really cinematic. First off, you have to crawl your way down. It's like another one. Like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to see what's down there. And so you get down there, then you're enclosed in a little area with like these little gates, and he comes out chasing you. He's got a good range. He can. He's got good accuracy. He can really hit you.
And a good
Yeah.
bit.
And
Yeah.
you have to lead him to the walls, and he will crash the walls, like the little gates, and then you can progress your way.
Yeah. Now, you know, without
Um,
his club, he's kind of tough. So that is definitely.
Yeah, makes
That's
sense.
probably why. It's probably why.
So what you end up doing is you have to crawl under this little temple area, Temple of Time Zelda crossover.
Yes.
You.
You mean yes? And so when you're under there, he'll go peek in. Can you do a little impression for us, Alex?
God, it seems like I do this on every fucking show, but to the viewers at home, Alex is doing a little peek in thing, so it looks like he's looking under something. You
I'm
can't.
just doing what I was asked.
You can't
Spencer, damn it!
Well, I know you can't see it because
Don't blame me.
we've got footage going. We don't use this footage, but Alex or Teddy did request that, so Alex did do it.
I was doing it with my friend Teddy.
It's awesome. I appreciate it, Alex.
We all have our thing.
We all have our fetish.
No judgments.
Impression fetish. you know?
Teddy has a
It's,
looking under things fetish.
Impression fetish.
So he peeps down, and then you grab him by the what?
The beard.
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 Not the horse nuts. The beard.
Better than horse nut.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Daniel
For those that
Fondle
can't see that,
impression.
Daniel just
Wait, I
just stroked,
I would.
assumedly,
I would.
horse nuts.
I would love if there was a Colossus where you just like grab onto his nuts, and just climb up his nuts.
Shadow of the Colossus 2.
Horse
DLC.
nuts.
Yeah, these nuts.
Genitalia edition.
But yeah, this it turns into the basic thing after you've grabbed onto his beard. It's your pretty much run of the mill tall guy Colossus thing. But just that adventure getting it to that point, I think, is the highlight of this guy.
Yeah. It feels like a set piece.
Barbara.
To Barbara. Some of it is that. Some of it is just like a set piece, and the Colossus is almost second. Because this one, it's cool to
Yeah.
explore the ruin and to explore this like little area that he's just destroying. You're like, oh, that used to be something. I don't know what it was, but it used to be something. So it's pretty.
Yeah,
neat.
I kind of get the feeling that a lot of these locations in the Forbidden Realm is like this, like places of worship or whatever. You know, maybe for Dorman, who knows?
Well, and this was like one of the first games that I really thought about like our video games art. You know, when I played it, like, you know, because it's like everything's up to interpretation, and the game is very cinematic, but without being like a like a Metal Gear Solid or something. You know.
Roger Ebert famously said that video games were not art, but Shadow of the Colossus was close.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roger Ebert said that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said that Shadow of the Colossus was the closest, and honestly, fuck, he's passed away. You know, respect to him, but like, fuck him for that shit. What sense does that even make? How is something almost art? I think he was just a stubborn old man, and he didn't want to. He was just not being open-minded or accepting of video games. He didn't really get them, and that would have been fine if he just didn't, try to act like a shit about it. But,
When did he die? Do you know?
a couple, like 10 years ago, or something like that.
Oh, so he didn't get to play Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I see why he didn't know. I did.
Maybe if he played that, he would have finally said, "Video
Wow.
games are art. I'm sorry, I was wrong."
All he needed was the Nazi zombie crossover. I mean, shit.
Which one had Kevin Spacey in it? That's the one.
Yeah, clearly he didn't play the Zombies DLC of the newest Call of Duty, because then he would have known.
That's
Wow.
pure art right
Video
there,
game
baby.
artwork.
I look at the gallery all the time. This is a zombie eating my face off. Shall we move on?
All
Yeah,
right.
there's not much to talk about this guy. He's cool, but
Move on to
not much.
Nemo.
All right. This guy's pretty sick.
Yeah, this guy's got a cool ass design, really interesting, unique fight. Hydrus.
Fans call him Hydrus. He resembles an electric eel and a catfish. He swims in a giant murky lake.
Oh man, I love catfish. It's so good.
Ew.
This one's a little shocking.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ted is.
Oh!
Yeah, we're on a fish hiatus.
Yeah, this one's. I think he's pretty cool. I like the because with the Avion, like water was an element, but it wasn't like it was more like if you fall off, you can fall into the water and you have to get back on land. But this fight's all about like no, you're just swimming in water and you have to like be really observant. You got to make sure that you get a really good feel for like what this guy can do and how to get on him. And then when you're being dragged underwater, that shit can be kind of spooky.
No
like,
thanks. No thanks. No thanks.
Yeah, if you didn't like the other one, you must hate this one, Alex.
No thanks. I think realistically, if this was like me in this situation, if this is the point where I got to where I was just like I saw this thing swimming around the water and knew I had to like grab it and go underwater, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm not even that horny. I'm just gonna go home.
It's like, nah, I'm good. I'll just go home and fap. I'm good. Just rub one out.
Just take
Be
pictures.
my horse.
Just take pictures of aggro and go into my room.
Yeah, I got aggro.
I love this boss.
This
This
is
is
sick.
so good. It's very just you can't crawl when you're underwater, so there's that element of like, how am I going to do this? It's using my stamina, and even just he's shocking. So like there's that threat about if he gets near you and everything. I just found it like very intimidating, and I really enjoy that. You have to crawl up like further up the eel every time, so chances are you're gonna have to like let go of him at a couple times. So you got to do that whole trek again. And when you get near those electric things, they might spark too. So this one was it was really good. I don't think I really got hurt by him that much, but it was just a very ominous one where it's like I don't want to go in the lake, but I know I have to.
Yeah. And again, especially it's really ominous when he's like taking you all the way down to the bottom of the lake and you're just like in the pitch black water. Like that shit's really cool and atmospheric and and you to your credit, like you're right, like you really have to think about like your stamina management in this one in particular because you can't just you can't while he's dragging you around underwater, you can't just take a break and be like, okay, walk around on this backward. No, you're stuck underwater. And if you don't have enough stamina, then, you have no choice. You have to let go. So you got to think a lot about like how much stamina you have and, whether it's worth it to take that risk. Cause sometimes you'll go back above water and that'll give you a moment to like run across it or, do what you need to do. But yeah, it's just really fun fight. I think it's one of the better ones, for sure.
In this one, I never really thought about it until we started talking about it. But in this one, you're actually fishing, aren't you? Like you are the bait, and then it comes up, and then
That interesting way to look at it.
yeah, I didn't think about that, and I'm like, oh, that's the
That'd be
mechanic.
hilarious.
Is you're literally the bait.
I wish there was like a giant fishing pole and you just like hook yourself onto it or something.
Yeah.
You're the bait that bites back.
This bait's gonna taste blood.
I'm reading something interesting here in the trivia. In the demo version, there was like an E3 demo version. Obviously not on the demo disc, but
Yeah, I was like, that's not the version I played.
this was the 5th Colossus. So somebody got to play like at least 5 Colossi.
PlayStation Magazine, you fuckers, you give me the
Yeah,
wrong one.
They shortchanged you. They didn't give you a third of the game.
I'm canceling my subscription to PlayStation Magazine. Is it still around? I don't know.
Apparently, the fight was much more frustrating. The water stopped you from being able to grab onto its fur, making you go back to where you started. That seems impossible. It must have been up for longer or something.
That's shocking.
Maybe. I think they made the right call to change it.
Yeah, because holding onto it while underwater is freaking cool.
Yeah. Like, I think the fight would have been way worse if you couldn't do that. Because you don't have that awesome moment when you're at the bottom of the lake and you're just wondering, like, what's he going to do? Is he going to go back up? I need air.
Speaking of
You
this,
say awesome. I say terrifying.
speaking of this area, do you think it was flooded? Do you think there was a flood in this world at some point? Because this is one of those areas, kind of like the other water area. It looked like there was something that was normally there, and now it's
There
like
is water here.
now there's water. Yes, I get the impression there's some kind of flood.
That's Mario Sunshine.
Oh,
There's
God.
a lot of beaches here.
No blue coins, though.
Damn.
Dude, that'd be
Is this
so
the
great.
eel? Do you have to clean its teeth?
Oh, crossover confirmed.
That would be so awesome if somebody like remade this game and then put a bunch of like coin collectibles in it. Like you had to get 100 coins. And then you're
You
just
know,
like,
I found the sword and the bow and arrow, but I couldn't find the toothbrush.
That's after your 8th playthrough.
You have to do one of the speedrun trials.
That's one of the alternate endings.
Can the eel come out to play? Yes.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think with this guy, he I don't know, because you're saying like, oh, was there a flood? But the thing is, this Colossus seems like it has been there for a while. I don't know if there was a flood. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I never thought of it that way.
Well,
But
if you think about it, something had to have happened. Like something happened to make
Yeah.
this a post-apocalyptic world. It's just fun to try to piece together what the hell it could have been if it's told to you somehow.
Well,
The
it's-
towers
it's actually
collapse when you're crawling
in
down.
in the prequel game, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh Jesus!
This is the ruins
yeah,
of
the
Westopolis.
prequel game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Echidna race before they were long vanquished from the cursed land.
Because like I've always been under the impression that like a lot of the places where these Colossus kind of like hang out, not all of them obviously, because they they roam a lot, but like a lot of them seem like shrines, like
Mhm.
places of worship, like. So I don't know, like I don't know if maybe water for that area played a part in that. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
Why do you think these
yeah.
lands were like evacuated in the first place?
I think it had to do with Dorman. It had something to do with Dorman. Maybe Dorman. Well, actually, I think what it was Dorman was sealed there. So I think that's why everyone left, because that's supposed to be Dorman's like prison. So that I don't know what happened, why everything is destroyed. But I'm pretty sure the reason why it's deserted is because that's supposed to be Dorman's prison. And I think that also explains why it's always sunlight. Because if you think about it, it's never nighttime. And I think that might be because of the spell that they cast on that place, the curse or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's necessarily insinuating that time is frozen, but there is something funky going on. Because like, especially when I very first played the game, I always expected at some point, because when you start the intro, you do see that it's nighttime. And I don't think it's realistic to expect that the whole game takes place in one day, even though that might be the case. But at some point, I always expected like, oh, when's it going to be nighttime? And it never happens. And I think that's because of whatever spell that they cast.
It never happens until the end when you take out the last one, which we'll get to. And that could be because all the other, like all the Colossi are basically gone.
I think that breaks the spell.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just love that they don't tell you any of that. It's kind of got that Dark Souls feel where it's just like you figure it out and make it your own thing.
You're kind of like a detective, You're like looking around like, this means something.
Got to start my lore channel.
Yeah. I mean, you could. It'd be kind of interesting.
Unironically, yeah, you could do that for Shadow of the Colossus. There's enough for you to work with.
You guys good to take on the next one?
Sure.
Whatever.
I love arenas.
Alex, do you want me to take on the next one? Do you want to stick on this one?
I said whatever.
Okay. The next one is called, by the fans, Kuro Mori. It resembles a gigantic lizard and climbs
Gex.
walls. It's Gex. Yes, Alex. And it can be found in a tall, narrow arena. He shoots like poisonous electricity, whatever that means.
Ooh, that's no joke.
I've died many times of that, just not even paying attention.
Yeah.
Like,
This one's also one of my favorites. I think
Yeah.
he's really cool. He's one of the more unique ones because he's like a lizard climbing up on the walls and stuff, and you got to shoot his legs to get him to fall off. Like, it's really unique. I love the arena. There's just something about the aesthetic of just these ruins
Oh, no.
that are like, what,
the A word. I'm sorry. That's a bad word.
aesthetic?
Oh no.
Sorry.
They used to say that all the time. For some reason, they stopped. They used to call themselves out on saying aesthetic too much.
Because we would say it all the time, and it was like, okay, we need to like stop.
Oh, gotcha.
In Sonic 2, pretty much every level had great aesthetic.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say it, Daniel, but they're not.
Yeah, the guests can say
Alright,
it.
It's
We
like
can't.
saying knee.
PTSD. Yeah, I have PTSD though. So.
The knights that say knee.
The nights that say aesthetic.
Close your ears, Alex. I'll give you the
But-
signal.
But yeah, like I was saying, I just really love the atmosphere of like these types of areas, these broken down ruins, lost to time. They're like filled with like green overgrowth, and there was something that used to be here. I don't know what exactly it was. Maybe it was a fighting arena, and that people would be like in the watching down from like the windows or whatever, and there'd be like dudes fighting at the bottom, and this lizard decided, hey, this place is pretty cool. I'm going to make it my home so I can like climb around and stuff. But I always really like this boss. Again, I think it really stands out as like one of the more unique ones because it's not super, super huge, but it's not as small as some of the smaller ones we'll get into later. It's like kind of like a mid-sized one. So that makes it like really mobile and agile, and you have to like be really quick about it to take it down. Always really love this fight. I always look forward to it.
Well, I think I remember whenever they were showing off the PS4 remake. This was like one of the ones they were really showing off. I think it's mainly because of like the arena and stuff, like the scope of like the area you fight it in. Because like the Colossus in terms of scale, it's probably one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, it is one of the smaller. But you're right, because like the arena is so cool, and I can see why they wanted to showcase it because it's also shrouded in a lot of darkness, and then there's the blinding light when you look out and try to fight him. Like just visually really cool.
This
You almost
one
said it.
is
I almost said it, but
atmosphere.
I'm holding
works.
back for you guys.
This one is no joke. Like this is one of the first ones where it's not stab it on the back.
Yeah, stab
You
it
know,
on the
you
stomach.
can't just jump on it and jump on it. No, you can't just jump on it and
Jump.
call it a day.
Okay.
He's also really tricky to like kind of navigate because you have to make him chase you up the walls, and you have to like escalate the stairs and everything. That poison stuff, man, like that, it slowly deteriorates your health like while you're standing in it. And I remember just getting O-code in it. Finding the windows tricky. Finding the bars that you can stab him through. You can't even stab. I think you have to like fire the arrow a couple times at him while he's climbing up, and then you have to jump down, and you can get like 1 or 2 hits in. I can't seem to get him like just in one take. I need to do it a couple times, like scurrying away. So he's frantic. He's thrashing about when you get in there.
Yes.
So
If you just
a lot of
jump
good
down to
stuff.
the bottom of the arena, you can shoot his feet and he falls.
Pro gamer tip right here.
That's what I'm saying. It's pretty
Jump
easy, you know
down. Shoot him in the feet.
that.
He falls. Oh, when he's climbing is what you're saying.
Yeah, so like when you first start to fight, if you fall, because like if you fall down, and it's a long drop, but if you just like grab ledges as you go down, like avoid fall damage, and then you just shoot his feet, and then he falls from the thing, and then you can stab
Yep.
him.
That's true. Yeah.
It's pretty easy after you know that.
Some cool trivia.
Yeah, because the first couple of times I played it, I remember I would like shoot him down, and then I'd be so high up, I'd just jump all the way down, and I'd waste like half my time because like Wander was like, do I need to get up? I don't want to get up, dude. Like my legs hurt.
I fell 3
You just
stories.
broke my legs. Yeah.
Many people, this is some trivia, many people found a way to jump onto his belly while it's climbing up. This is not.
That's pro gamer.
Yeah. Well, it says this is not recommended, however, as it is not only difficult to perform but very glitchy. If Wander holds on too long, such as he can be launched in the air, miles into the air, or turned invisible.
Hell
wow.
yeah.
And
Pro
glitch the
gamer.
game that way.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
It's the only battle wherein Wander will cover his face when the poisonous gas comes out. He puts his arm over his mouth.
Interesting.
As one would.
And Dorman's introduction. There's a little error here. Dorman's introduction line reads, "A tail trapped within a pail deep. A tail trapped within a pail deep within a forest. But the lair in the final game is not actually located near any forest."
Mm.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
So it just
Yeah,
says making
is
his
it
line
true? Because
curious.
The kind of ride down there, it's like you're going through this kind of lush area. It stood out to me. You have to like shine the sword from atop the lush area, and you like go down the stairs, and it ends up being an arena area.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It always stands out to me that Dorman starts off with the translation, "Thy next foe is," and then it'll say like a thorn brush in the in like the woods or something, and it's not the enemy. It's always like some verse of poetry. So
Yeah.
little syntax error.
What do you want him to say? Yo, go get the fucking lizard.
Yeah,
I mean, if he wants me to
Get
take
the
down the
lizard,
lizard,
bro.
if he wants me to kill a lizard, tell me to kill the lizard.
Thy next foe is Gex, the lizard, bro.
Yes.
When I get an assignment at work, it's not like between
Is
the
this-
trees there
Your
will be a
boss?
whistle.
Okay.
And when they come out with Shadow of the Colossus 2, then you have to fight Gex 2, Enter the Gecko.
Mm.
Otherwise known
Separates
as
the men from the boys.
Gex 64.
Enter the Gexes. Like get it like Nexus,
Hmm.
but Gex.
Gex
Yes.
Revelations.
X's. Whoa, we're having revelations here. Cool. That's halfway through the Colossi.
At this
Whoa.
point, we'd like to take our intermission and invite you to take a bathroom break.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Maybe, get some popcorn.
I'll do that. Thanks. I'll be
Okay.
right back then.
Daniel is getting up
Daniel's
from
gone.
the chair. We lost Daniel.
I think he actually went to the
He actually went to the
This is
bathroom.
our first guest walking up out of the show. Wow. I don't know what to say.
Well, Alex
Amazing.
specifically told him we're doing that. Even though we never do that.
This is amazing.
This is your fault.
You're right. This is my fault. I'll take credit for this.
Okay. I don't know if credit's the right word. Blame is more, I think, the one you're looking for. You're welcome.
Well,
In
How's
the
the weather,
meantime, it's hot.
Yeah, it is hot.
Yeah.
you know, I
Is
live
it
in
Arizona
Arizona,
hot?
right?
Yeah,
no.
you're a nomad.
What's it like out there?
We're breaking fucking records. We have an excessive heat warning right now. Right now, it is 111 degrees. It's expected to. We have a high of 115.
Jesus.
Come
Dude,
at me,
you're
bro.
going to be like, when you come to Tennessee next month, you're going to be like, holy shit, this is nice.
I
We're gonna be
will.
on some fucking mountains and shit.
We have mountains.
Do you?
No, those are called dunes.
Yeah, we have sand dunes. What?
Speaking of sand dunes, well, we'll get there.
I just imagine you walk out of your house, Spencer, and you're just like, it's like you're in the middle of like the Sahara Desert or something. It's
That's what you assume it's like out here.
yeah, you just have to like trek across the dunes.
Yeah. To get to GameStop.
yeah. The scar.
There's like a
Oh my
GameStop in a
God.
Mirage somewhere.
Dude, it's that fucking scene from Uncharted 3. I don't know if you play Uncharted 3,
No.
but where he's just like okay, well, you get straight into the desert at one point. That's what that like reminded me of. But you just like almost dying walking through the desert, like gotta get to GameStop.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
great.
pre-order Black Ops 4.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I'm
we're
sure
we're
I
halfway
don't.
through the next. All the next colossi are pretty epic.
Whoa,
Hold on to
They're
your
pretty
butts.
and they're epic.
epic! Just like my favorite YouTube show, Epic Mealtime. Welcome to 2008. Remember that year?
Remember that year?
Ah, yes. I can see it all now. The hamburger deluxe. Can I eat 40 Whoppers in 10 minutes?
Stuff 40 Whoppers into a turkey wrapped in bacon and then
Bacon.
smother it in barbecue sauce.
Smothered with bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon sauce. What if Daniel just never comes back? What if Daniel just left?
Yeah. I could hear his car. It's like,
You can tell he's a big fan of the game. He leaves halfway through.
yeah.
Shadow of Daniel. Well, you know what? We can impersonate. So, Daniel, what do you think of the next Dune boss? Well, there's a very interesting theory on how it came into the cave. It actually starts from Fumito Ueda. Hold on, Alex. I'm going to have to ask you to hold on because I've got a theory here.
I remember playing Shadow Colossus as a young boy.
We've actually replaced Daniel with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, talk to us about Stage 9.
I stabbed the Colossus. All right, and that was Colossus 16.
Wait, what?
We thought we lost you for a bit there.
Well, you said to take a break. I need to go to the bathroom. Was that a joke?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I like the fact that they actually it was amazing.
Yeah,
I was
Alex,
I really
he's
needed-
actually
Alex
doing
is
it.
impressed that he told people we're taking a break
Go.
and then somebody went up. I don't know what Alex
Yeah.
is thinking on this. We never do
I
that.
really
awesome.
needed to go, so I was just taking advantage. Like, oh, okay, oh, it's break time.
Jesus.
That's what I do on my podcast. We have a break time.
Oh, do you? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I
like
mean-
halfway through.
I mean,
we'll
no. I mean, I listened to all your episodes.
But yeah, he just decided to tell you that we have a break. I don't know. We've never done that.
I'm sorry.
Well, the
Don't be
episode will have a lot
sorry.
of interesting commentary when it airs. Let's just leave it at
It
that.
made my day, dude. That's awesome.
Oh man, I took it seriously. I really
As you
needed
should.
to go,
As-
so-
you totally should have taken it seriously. I don't know how else to take. We're taking a break.
It's all right, Daniel. I'm going to go make some coffee. If anybody wants some coffee, I've got you.
Oh wow.
Anyway, the ninth Colossus is Baseron. This tortoise-like Colossus can be found in a great cave next to a field of geysers. I don't think it was in a... Oh, it's in a cave, but it comes out of the cave. Anyway. This guy annoys me.
Why? Tell me why.
He's not a bad one. It's just so you have to hit him under. You get him under a geyser, and then you shoot his legs, kind of like the second one, and then he falls over, and then he's like a huge fortress on his back, and it's cool, but I don't know. I just kind of I get annoyed with it. I don't hate it, but I just get annoyed.
He's got a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to climb up the belly, and just as you're climbing up the belly, he starts to roll back. You have to make the transition up. So, the platforming is actually kind of tricky. But I thought it was a good boss.
Yeah, like using the geyser is neat.
I hate this one. I think it's the one I legitimately just fucking do not like, and it's mostly because
Fuck this guy.
fuck him. But it's because like I feel like the geyser, like the idea is cool, like oh lead him to the geyser and the geyser pushes him up and then you shoot him. Like conceptually it's cool, but I always felt like it was always not really all that accurate. Like I swear there were times, especially in the PS2 version, I don't know if they fixed it with the PS4 version, but like there were times where the geyser would be hitting him and he still wouldn't move, and I'd be like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it has to.
He's
be
also
certain...
a tortoise with laser beams. Like he fires, like he spits fire at you, and so you're like trying to lure him. Oh, this is a good one though to be on aggro. Like I think you actually have to be on aggro.
Yeah,
because you got to get
Otherwise,
really.
you're screwed.
You got to get really far away from him so he'll actually fucking move, because he can shoot at you. So then once you get far away, he'll start moving. And to what you're saying, Daniel, yeah, it has to be a certain animation over the geyser. It can't just be over the geyser and actually work. It has to be like the right animation too. It's freaking annoying.
Yeah.
I will say that I think that this is like what the 3D Zeldas have really tried to do with the horse battles. Like this, I think, is it like kind of perfected. Like maybe not perfect, but it's actually like a really epic kind of horse battle sequence that I don't really see in like the Twilight Princess or the.
You're admitting that this is better than Ocarina of Time.
Not necessarily. I'm just saying.
What you're saying.
The horse is implemented well for people like you who have horse fetish. They would be well impressed.
I have
You have the disease.
You've got the horse fetish, sir. This is the ball for you.
To your credit, Teddy, I think the biggest reason for that is because aggro is mandatory. He is a key part of the game. Is a key part of the game, and Epona technically is optional. In Breath of the Wild, horses are also optional. So I think if Nintendo wants to make horseback ride, that's why Twilight Princess is the only one where the horseback riding goes beyond just horseback riding. There's a little more to it because you have to use Epona in that game.
Aggro. Sorry, I have horse fetish.
Okay, he's back.
You have it. He's afflicted.
All yours, buddy.
We're here for you on your journey.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I have horse fetish. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
I really like how big the Colossus is, though, and I do like when it's turning.
Wait a second, how big the Colossus is? Isn't that like a
Oxymoron?
Yeah. It's a Colossus.
I mean, it is, but it's not really an oxymoron. I'm saying in relative to the other Colossi.
Oh, okay.
My
Sorry.
goodness.
Hates the boss, loves how big it is.
I
It's got a great shadow.
Because like if you play like a Mario game, you ever played a Mario game before? They have
like isn't the blue guy?
I like in the 3D ones they'll have those parts where the platform is scrolling like either towards you or away from you or whatever, and you have to kind of like the platforming stuff comes at you, and you got to like dodge and jump correctly. This kind of emulates that in a neat way when the turtle thing is like turning its body. I really
emulation.
Turtle.
More turtle.
More turtle.
My favorite boss in Shadow of the Colossus, War Turtle.
War Turtle. Blastoise. Really, it could be Blastoise. They could have just modded it to be Blastoise.
That'd be sick.
Dude.
Blastoise is the best of the starters.
You're wrong, but I'll respect your opinion.
No.
What's the best starter?
It's Bulbasaur.
No, it's not.
Oh, shut up! It's Bulbasaur.
It's
Come on, every kid picks Charmander.
It's Charmander.
No,
that's
fuck
like
Charmander.
Basically a fact.
Fuck Charmander.
Where's the coming from?
Look, I'm sorry, but a turtle with fucking cannons in its shell is cool as shit.
So is a
Can't
fire
even argue
dragon.
with me on that.
There's
We
nothing.
just said-
argue.
There's literally
Fuck the map out.
Well, yeah. Quick aside. There's literally like entire genres based on dragons. There's like entire genres of media, games, everything based on dragons.
That's
I
why
don't
it's
remember
lame, because there's so many dragons.
I don't
out there,
remember-
you know?
Fucking
Dungeons-
Pikachu, Pokemon Yellow.
How many Bulbasaur
I don't
genres are there? What is Bulbasaur?
remember
Plant?
Dungeons and
Plant.
Houseplant. I don't remember Dungeons and Turtle with water cannon. I remember Dungeons and Dragons. So that's
I
all
would
I'm
love
saying.
Dungeons and Turtle with one.
I love Dungeons and Electric Rodent.
I would play that in a heartbeat.
Okay, I would too, but
No, you want to come over and
Doesn't
play
make
some
sense.
Dungeons and Turtle with water cannon? Rolls right off the tongue.
Dungeons
yeah,
and Plants
weren't we-
sounds like a good,
Weren't we mapping out Shadow of the
Gardening
Colossus or
activity.
something?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Fuck.
Oh, this one's Dirge. Do you guys have anything left to say about number 9?
Nope.
That's cute. That's kinda cute.
I don't like him. He's a piece of shit. He can go fuck himself.
Tell me how you really feel.
You fuck himself with those water geysers.
For someone who likes turtles with water cannons, I thought you would appreciate
Yeah,
this one a
this
little
one's right
bit.
up your
Not
alley.
this one.
All right. Well, number 10 is called by the fans Dirge. This
Takes place in Arizona.
Of
this
Cerberus.
serpentine colossus moves through the loose sand in a gigantic cave.
This is just what Spencer sees in Arizona every day.
Yes.
When he walks outside.
Don't go down the I-10 at 9 o'clock because the Dirge will get you. It's a constant mistake from Californians. This one feels like a Zelda boss. You're running away from it on aggro, and you have to shoot its eye, and then it slams into the wall.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
it has that Zelda quality to it.
I think this one has my favorite music too. I mean, I'm not gonna like sing it because it's.
Sing it.
I don't remember. I just know it's epic. I remember this is like.
Da,
one
da,
of the
da,
ones-
da.
Da 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 da. That's it.
When you first see him, the song "A Messenger from Behind" plays. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I told you, dude. It's got the best fucking music in this one.
And then once he crashes into the wall, it plays Counterattack.
This is
Yeah,
actually a
this is
pretty
cool.
tricky one. You need to use aggro here, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, because he's fast.
I go.
And I do like the camera
She.
kind of
She is fast. Thank you.
Thank you. So I do like the camera, like the kind of active camera. It's a little tricky kind of navigating it with like the cave pillars and everything. You don't want to like just suddenly get caught up running into a cave pillar. And you can't see because the camera turns to behind you. But just like the whole motion is very cinematic. This is going to become the new aesthetic for me. And, you know, like being able to aim the bow while moving on aggro is kind of interesting. It's cool. As far as the actual boss, I don't know.
Well, I think it's a cool design. I think the idea of like this dude that's like swimming around in the sand, he's like popping out of these huge peepers. You gotta shoot him. I think it's really cool. And I mean, I wouldn't say he's like one of my favorites, but I think he's a solid one. You know, he's got a cool design. He's got a cool arena. You know, conceptually it's cool. I don't think the execution is as stellar as something like Avion, but like I think it still overall it's like, yeah, it's good stuff.
You think it's a solid snake?
I hate
Yes.
sand. Of course.
I'm
it's
impressed
everywhere.
by this one because I think they take. I don't know this for a fact, but just I would suspect that they kind of take some of the control of aggro out of your hands during a lot of these segments, and because
maybe
there's no way I'm able to keep up that pace and be that steady. Like I would crash into something. I think they kind of help guide aggro a little bit on this, and I don't mind that. I think that's actually kind of a cool game design to kind of shift the focus onto shooting it in the eye. I just feel like I trust the game when it's doing that.
I feel like of all the times I played the game, I think I crashed into a wall like once doing this fight. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I think you're right. I think they do take the control away from you a bit.
I appreciate that. Alex probably wants full control on that aggro.
Aggro. Can we get an aggro count?
Constantly.
Spencer, you're editing this one, right? Can we get an aggro counter?
Absolutely
How many times
not.
I've said
Absolutely.
aggro?
This has to be done in like a day. So no, you don't get it.
Like,
Aggro
I mean,
counter, please.
by now, the counter would have already been broken.
Yeah, it's broken. There you go.
Aggro.
Not much else to say on this one. Huh? I don't know. I think it's a cool one, but yeah, I guess it's nobody's favorite.
Fine.
I don't think anyone is going to say that they hate this one or love this one.
I love and hate it. It's a love-hate movie.
So there you go. Alex just.
Of course.
He loves to hate it and he hates to love it. It's a love-hate
Story.
I
relationship.
hate
dirt.
sand. I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
Sand or water?
Ooh. For which one?
For you.
Yeah,
For-
you said
for
you're
what-
afraid of
for-
water. You're afraid of sand.
For love or hate? Well, isn't sand just dry water?
Yes, I think you have something. You're onto something.
Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on.
We didn't name this guy. What's his name?
Dick.
Sandy.
Yeah. Dick Sandy.
Dick Sandy.
Or Sandy Dick.
Sandy Dick.
Sandy Dick. All right, Celosia is the number 11 one, again given by the fans. Found in a small but deep canyon underneath the north end of the gigantic bridge.
Shit's deep.
This is one of our small guys. Looks like
Yeah.
a big guard dog.
It's like the size of a minivan.
Small dude. I think it's
Developer
more
name
a
is
boar,
Leo.
right?
That's a surprisingly like normal sounding name.
Yeah. Fucking developer name was Frank.
Because some of these other ones are like Yamuri and Kame, and this one's just like Leo.
Hey, Leo.
This one's genius.
I
No,
like
it's Leo.
I like this one a lot. This one, he's like scared of fire, and you got to chase him around with it, and I love it. I like that interaction. And it actually works, which is probably the best thing.
This one, you kind of play your own matador role.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You're right. Yeah, instead of the red cape, you have the torch instead.
Yeah.
A lot of process of figuring out. Like, I have Dorman, she's like screaming at me, like, he hates fire.
Fire.
So, there's like a bunch of torches. You have to climb one of them. He rams into it. You get the stick, and you have to drag him out in time, push him out into the area.
Yeah.
You guys can cheat this pretty easily because like you normally have to push him over to the cliff, but if you just go over to the cliff and then draw him over, you can like glitch the thing to like play the animation.
Oh, serious? I
Really?
didn't know that.
Yeah. You just like drop the torch, then put it, like pick it back up and stuff, and you can like glitch him just to fall over there. You don't have to worry about like push him back. It's kind of cool.
Oh, I
I
didn't
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a speedrun tactic.
Uh-oh. He's using a
Get them
speedrun.
strats. Yeah.
I had a weird
Go ahead.
instance. I had a weird instance with this one. I love this fight, but I knocked him over. I grabbed a hold of him, and then but he shook me off, and he literally mauled me all the way back to the thing. It was so terrifying and just horrible.
That's the one thing I hate about this boss is like if you mess up and he knocks you off, and even if you don't get knocked off, but like if he can get you in a loop where he's just like hits you and Wander takes forever to get back up and hits you again, and it just keeps going, and you have to find a way to get out of that loop. And I want to say like maybe once or twice I got killed during that.
Yeah.
So I think it's some they could have lowered the aggression a bit on this boss, or at the very least made it so that when you get hit by it, you don't get so fucking knocked off your ass that you just like Wander takes like 2 minutes to get back up.
Yeah.
I think they should have upped the aggression.
They should have upped the aggro.
Because I'm a pro gamer.
I'm a pro aggro runner.
You ain't pro gamer. I thought you was. Get up.
Pro gamer.
I glitch him off the mountain.
But
Well,
I
you
mean,
get glitch off the mountain?
You need to game up, man.
but aside from that, I think it's a cool fight.
And I think this is one of the early scenes where you really, well, not early, but one of the scenes where they're starting to introduce you to the idea that they kind of have emotions, and they're kind of like there's more to their brains than just like
Roaming around.
roam. Yeah, like this one's actually like afraid of your fire, and it's like it's dehumanizing, or not?
Yeah,
not
he's
really.
afraid.
It's humanizing.
He's the smallest Colossus up to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. It is
But
he's clever, though.
he's pretty dastardly still, and he's got a cousin who we'll meet too.
I think you're right on the money though, because like he's fearful of you, but he is also like really aggressive, like a way like the other ones really aren't. Like
It's
the
fire with
lizard
fire.
one, yeah. Like, and the lizard one was kind of aggressive. Like that one was pretty aggressive, but like I think this guy in particular is just like he sees you and he's just like I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Well, he's got the impression of a guard dog, but I guess they're saying lion like Leo. But either way,
Guard line.
It's mentioned by Dorman that this is a guard dog, or a guardian set loose, so a guardian. And this gives you the impression that now you're talking about like, oh, these things were protecting a city or protecting something. So now you're getting more context as to like this had a function at some point to protect. And we'll see the other one later, makes even more sense, but to protect like a place that exists.
Dorman Star Guardian Leonard
Nimoy.
I read Leonard Nimoy's book not that long ago called I Am Spock. It was pretty interesting.
Is he indeed Spock?
So the thing about that book is that half the book is Leonard Nimoy talking to himself as Spock. It's fucking weird. He'll be like, so Spock, how does it feel to be, popular, And he's like, I am a Vulcan. I do not have feelings. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Whoa. I have some friends that would really like that book.
I'm not like a huge Trekkie or anything, but I watched a few of the movies. Like I love Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan's really cool. I just checked it out because I'm, whatever. It seemed interesting, and I liked it. It was good.
What do you call Shrek in space?
Shrekky.
Star Shrek.
I was going to Star Shrek. Shrekky's good too.
Why do we keep bringing up Shrek? Shrek is in like the last 6 episodes of Butt Mappers.
Well, I mean, you're riding a donkey.
Oh, don't you disrespect aggro like that.
Well,
Speaking of disrespect, the next Colossus, we interrupt their bath time.
It's Ducky.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We're showing you Pelagia, again a fan name. It's found within a large lake.
Get out of here! I'm taking a bath.
So this name really, the developer name is Poseidon, which makes a lot of sense. It's like this guy like roaming around in the water, and he's also got these electricity powers. This guy, I would say I kind of put him in a similar category as Dirge, in that like I think he's really cool conceptually, and there's some like really neat ideas here. But I wouldn't say like he's my favorite, and I wouldn't put him as one of like the low tier ones either. He's really cool and solid. I'd say I maybe like Dirge a little bit more, but I think the reason is because the way that this guy works is you have to like get on his head because he's got these like crown thing on like teeth or whatever. Yeah, it's weird.
Weird.
Yeah, and you have to like maneuver him by hitting the teeth to get him to go where you want him to go, and sometimes that can be a little unreliable. But aside from that, I think it's a pretty cool Colossus, all things considered.
I think it can be a pain in the ass.
It can be. When on my first playthrough, this was the hardest one I had. Just kind of understanding how it worked was very weird. But as I look on it now, I really love the concept of like one major, like almost like a hub platforming segment going to other platforming segments and making you interact between them just to like move around. It's very creative and very clever. I think you're right that some of the interactions are a little bit to be desired, but I love the idea of it, and I think they execute it kind of well.
I prided myself on being able to figure out the Colossi without looking up walkthroughs. And what pissed me off was I was able to do most of this, but just that sequence where he like suddenly puts his pillars on top of the section, you don't really see the underbelly. Mm-hmm. And so like he had done it 3 times, and the sequence to get to that point, you have to like go around onto the back. You have to like, and it's oftentimes very hard to just swim around to the back. You have to like kind of trick him up, and so he'll like start turning. So it's like a lot of a waiting game. And he also, when you first start the boss battle, he has like that homing laser shot that's like almost unavoidable. Wait. So,
you said you get him to turn around, and then you get on his back?
So what you do is when you go to those little like miniature Colosseum areas, you can kind of hide behind the pillar and he'll start turning away. Otherwise, if you just try and swim around him, he'll mostly keep up with you. I was able to finesse it a couple times.
Oh my god, we do it differently.
Whoa.
You can shoot him with arrows, and then he'll like lean in, and you can jump on his face.
Oh wow,
That's how I always did
Oh,
it.
I
I
didn't
never
do
did it where you go on his back. That's crazy.
That's interesting because what I would do is I would just like swim, and I would just like swim really aggressively by his side until I eventually just got onto his back.
yeah, which I
dang.
tried doing. So we have like 3 methods here.
That's interesting. I jump on his rubber ducky.
Right.
Alex with the fourth.
Dude, I would love that mod if they modded like a shower cap on his head and then like a rubber ducky or something.
Well, and then maybe toothbrush in the other hand, and he goes up to brush his teeth.
Oh, that's genius.
And you get a hold of that.
And his head
And that,
teeth, like we all have,
fixes the AI.
yeah. Sony, we're right here.
I love the bridge coming up to this.
Yeah. And the dam, the waterfall.
Mhm.
Damn.
Damn.
Daniel.
They did an awesome job on the remaster. The forest, like you said, the bridge and the forest on the way over here, they just look freaking
Gorgeous.
breathtakingly beautiful.
This was some Lord of the Rings shit, man. Like I was feeling like there's the part where they're at the waterfall and there's like the big statue. Alex, I don't know if you know, but yeah, I figure so. I'm giving you a little context here. There's like a big knight and like I felt like this was like one of those sacred waterfall areas.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Sacred bath time.
Sacred
But, yeah,
bath.
no, I do like looking at like the little like rivers and like I remember just absorbing it all. And sometimes you see like the eagle flying behind you. I don't remember if that happens at this point, but just very mesmerizing.
Yeah, a lot of the environments in this game are just beautiful. Like I know that the remake on like a technical level is like more visually pleasing, but like even the original game, like I still think I really like the way the original game looks too. There's like a charm to it.
Oh, I refuse to play the original because in my mind's eye, it looks like the remake.
The original, yeah, is a breathtaking game. Even today, it's kind
the
of
best looking game I've played on the PS2.
easily. Yeah.
This is
It's kind of bizarre that it came out on the PS2. It could easily be mistaken. Like it's just like, how did that even happen? When you look at some of the other games out there.
Well, that's kind of
Actually,
like the beauty of the remake is like what I think the game looks like.
Yeah.
I think the best looking PS2 game I've ever seen is Valkyrie Profile 2. That game, it looks like an early like PS3 360 game. Like it's pretty breathtaking. But yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is up there as one of the best.
I'm gonna have to send you a copy of Shadow of the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's right. I've never played it, so I might be missing out. You're right.
You subsequently made one of our Button Mapper fans very happy and displeased at the same time.
What's that?
I don't know why they'd be displeased.
Confirmation of Shadow the Hedgehog possibly looking better than Valkyrie.
Confirmed. I mean, they're both games.
Both good-looking games, I'm sure.
Yes. You guys ready for number 13?
Absolutely.
Final Fantasy 13.
All right.
No.
Number 13 is my personal favorite.
Lightning Returns.
Fans call it Phalanx, I guess. It's the 13th Colossus. It's in the middle of a large desert.
Sorry, isn't it that dumb SNES game with the guy with the banjo on the cover? Isn't it called Phalanx?
Yeah, it is.
It's like all I
Actually,
thought
you're
of.
right.
Yeah.
It's a good shooter, though. It's actually a decent game.
Yeah, we should map that out.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Despite its massive appearance, it is completely docile and will in no way deliberately assault Wander. It's by far the largest Colossus in the game, over twice the length of Hydrus or Dirge. Each of its wings are over 60 feet long, with the rear half matching the width of a 4-lane highway.
Shoot it in the air sacs.
Yeah, it's got these weird air sacs.
You said this is your favorite,
Yeah.
and honestly, I can definitely see that. I'd say it's easily one of the best. so cool, so much fun.
What kind of creature did you guys kind of see this as?
Like a bug. I saw it as a bug.
Dragonfly, maybe?
Yeah, like it's like some kind of. This is Snake as the developer nickname. I just don't see that.
Snake.
I see this.
Snake.
Knuckle. I see.
That's
as a bug.
interesting. I didn't. Yeah, that's weird. They color a snake a flying snake.
You could get dragon out of it, like a black
Never seen
dragon or
Flying
something.
snake before?
Yeah, I'd say it's closer to a dragon than a snake.
I was
Then again,
getting,
I mean, it is
yeah.
like it has like a long body, so I guess that's where the snake comes from. But still, it doesn't feel very snake-like to me.
In a world where snakes can fly.
Snakes on a plane.
Snakes. Snakes are the plane. Oh God!
I just love the idea. You get to use the aggro. You're riding on aggro. You shoot its things.
Aggro.
It falls to the ground and it's got its wings just cutting through the desert. You got to jump off aggro onto the wings and then it flies up. And when you're in the air, not only do you get that sense of speed, but the dust is like flying past you. These particles. Oh my God! The whole thing is. This is like perfect Hollywood for me. It's so great. This is my favorite.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Here we go.
No, I totally agree with you. I think shooting it down, its air sacs, is so much fun. Just it's one of those like multi-phase fights that, you know, every part of it's like really engaging. You got to bring it down, and then you got to jump on the wings, and then you got to get on its back, and then you have to like attack like the different parts of it. Like just such a cool fight. There's so much to it, and running around in like the giant desert area. All of it just works so well. It's top tier fucking Colossus for sure. If we had like a tier list, it would be S rank.
We will.
Oh, okay.
Don't tempt us.
One thing, well, yeah, we can do that live. So one thing I like the riding aggro,
Aggro.
and shooting the nut sacks. That was fun. But once he comes down, he just sticks his wings in the sand and just starts like kind of gliding around. I just didn't like it. That part kind of broke realism for me, or reality.
The game where a flying snake can fly with its nutsacks, you think that part breaks the realism?
The nut sacks was fine. Just the wings.
He said he was cool
sand.
with the nutsacks.
Nutsack's cool. Wings in the sand. I don't like it. It's like, what is he doing? Is he like
Too
just
far!
skating around? He's like a little Hot Wheels segment, you know, like I don't know. And so that like I like getting on the back and everything, but then it's very sequential. What I liked about the other Colossi was like it's not like a 1, 2, 3 thing. You're done. It's like you have to bring him down 3 times after you attack each sigil. You cannot stay on him. He drops you back down. So this one felt so much more sequenced, whereas the other ones felt a little more open-ended for me.
What are you trying to say about Hot Wheels?
I like it. I just don't like it in Shadow of the Colossus.
I'm cool with him falling down. I mean, I don't know how he works, so maybe the sacks are like his fuel somehow. Like that's how he fuels himself, and he's got to repair, so he can't fly anymore. I don't know. It's beyond my knowledge of how it would work in general, so I'm cool with it. But I can see the other part. Yeah, once you get on his back, it's kind of like rinse repeat. But
Is it the
Yeah,
key to flight?
I think that the sacs are it's what keeps him up. I don't know why exactly, but you know, whatever. It's game. The way I saw it, like when his wings are like dragging through the sand, I kind of just took that as like you're bringing him down so low that like it's not used to being that low to the ground, you know, being brought down like that. So it itself doesn't know what to do. So it's like dragging its wings like that. But yeah.
Here's some cool stuff. Phalanx has 3 eyes, 1 on its
Whoa!
right and 2 on its left.
Hmm.
I
Why?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
Why not?
There's a
There we go.
theory that Phalanx is bound to its arena by the various stone structures nearby. You can click on that, and I'm not going to, but apparently people are talking.
People are
Oh,
saying
this
things.
was another one. I was, you know, with Ryan Agro, I was getting like caught up on those pillars.
Aggro.
That what's interesting is there's like these stone rings that are in the desert, and those exact stone rings are actually in Ico.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who else has rings?
Oh God.
Our sponsor today, Sonic. They sell onion rings.
I could go for some onion rings. That sounds pretty good right about now.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Mm.
All right.
But what I think is kind of interesting about the stone rings, though, is you might think that the implication is that, oh, well, Shadow of the Colossus takes place after Ico, because in Ico the stone rings are actually part of the building. But Shadow of the Colossus actually takes place way before Ico.
Yeah.
I would love to map that game out. I love Ico.
Oh yeah, Ico's great. So it's kind of interesting. It kind of makes you think like, oh, so what's the connection then? But they don't say. So you gotta think about it yourself.
Yeah. We ready to go to
The best one.
number 14? This one's
Arguably.
badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the best one.
Cenobia is the fan name given to the 14th Colossus found in the ruins of a large city. It is similar in size to the equally relatively small Colossus Celosia.
Yeah.
Cerberus is
Yeah.
the developer nickname.
Yeah.
This guy, you fight him in a city, and he destroys the city while trying to get you. And that's pretty
Dude.
much how you kill him.
It's the littlest Colossus, but oh my god, I fucking love the platform challenge in this area.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this like I was saying before, I love like ruins and shit, and like this is like my favorite area in the whole game because it makes you wonder like, what was this place like in its heyday? Like, what were people doing? Like, what was this place for? It just looks so cool, and I love exploring it. I like how he's hanging out in his little like temple area, and then he sees you and he starts jumping down. He's like, I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah, this one puts his cousin to shame. Like, just everything about this is masterful. It's like the platforming is, I wouldn't say it's complicated platforming, although finding that first pillar on the ground to grab onto was like, I just couldn't figure, because there's so much to grab onto. I was like, oh, and I'm gonna walk around the area and find that tower, and he's chasing you like a motherfucker too. Like you can like run across, like hop across the area, and you'll be like kind of safe. But then he's like right there on your tail. There's no outrunning him. So like once you start getting on it though, the sequence is just beautiful. You can see him underneath you. You can see like the ledges and stuff. And once you start climbing on those big pillars, he's ramming into them. Rams twice. You got to fire at him with another arrow the second time. But then it starts collapsing. When that happens for you guys, I don't know. Can you describe to me like the process of the platforming for you?
I'll be at the top. He rams into it a second time. It falls, and then you time your jump. No, it's not that hard, but you time it, and then you jump onto the next tower. Repeat until eventually he breaks, and it goes into that like almost the starting area.
What happens if you miss the pillar when you're like it's falling?
You can still run across. It's fallen in a way that you can still run across it and continue the process.
I still treat that like every moment, like I might not be able to get back on.
Oh
here.
yeah, when you do it, you're like, I'm fucking making this jump, and it's so Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's so Hollywood and perfect. It's awesome.
No,
It's
yeah,
just
totally.
it's so exciting on like so many fronts, and you have to be so environmentally aware of everything. There's nothing like that first playthrough trying to figure out. Like I was tempted to like go to the walkthrough, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna figure this one out. This is gonna be some good stuff. So I was happy to say I did.
I mean,
Yeah, I did it the same way as Spencer. Yeah.
I'm the platformer guy, so love me some good platforms.
So that's what's your favorite.
Well, I think what's cool about this is that kind of like what Daniel was saying. It is still like that city, so you can see where people like. I'm always confused with the budget of gaming. Like I always want to understand how people allocate money to games. And they're like, okay, let's build an entire city, like a huge one, where people can like stand and like this is where they would eat. And they're like, okay, and the whole game's gonna be there. And no, it's gonna be like 10 minutes, and we're gonna blow it out. Like,
Yeah, just like that.
And that's what makes this
thing.
area like. That's why I think is my favorite area is that like I think a lot of the game is very cinematic in the sense of like just your travels there and like the areas you fight in, but this is cinematic in the sense of like what you actually do in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that's what I thought. Like the platforming challenge itself could have just very well been like a cinematic cutscene. It's fucking awesome.
No, and it's not a cutscene. You get to experience it for yourself, and it just feels amazing in the moment. You're just like doing it, and you're jumping from pillar to pillar, and then you got to trick him into like crashing into something, and then he's like shaking off his armor, and you get back on him. You're getting revenge for all that shit. It's like,
if this was a movie, this would be like one of the high points where I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, holy shit, is he gonna make it?
Yeah. Oh, it's so well done. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, top tier Colossus for sure. One of the best.
I'm trying to see if I can find any cool tidbits of trivia for him.
Did you know
Cerberus has a cousin?
Colossus is actually based off of Clifford, the big red dog?
Did you know the city ruins where the battle takes place shares a strong resemblance, like most of the structures in Shadow of the Colossus, to the castle in Ico. Whether any of the scattered ruins have a connection to the castle in Ico or even the Last Guardian is not known.
Did you know it's actually pronounced Eek? Oh.
I hate the fact that whenever I think of Ico, I think of the terrible North American boxcar art. It's
It is bad.
Burned in my mind. That stupid face where he's like, huh?
It is really bad box art.
It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
It's ridiculously bad. Like, couldn't they just? They should have just done like the name and then the cool like mosaic or something. Like this.
Well, like the other regions got cool box art, but we got like this shitty 3D render. Huh?
Dude, he's a straight Chad.
I tell you, it's bad. It's terrible.
No, I called him a Chad.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, his name's Ico.
Are we ready for 15?
He's a straight eco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to the most bullshit fight in the game.
I love this one. This was great.
Argus is the fan name given to the 15th Colossus. This cleaver-wielding giant is found in a fortress. And this guy is probably one of the bigger ones. And he takes some getting to get onto his body by having him manipulate the environment. And then it takes some even more doing just to get to his hand. What do you guys think of Argus?
This guy is tricky.
Mm-hmm. A lot of figuring out. Like, just figuring out, like, you have to... first off, you have to go to the edge of the cliff, and he climbs up, and he's looking at you. And,
Yeah.
They got some real, fear stuff going on here. But you have to chase him to, like, a very specific part along the walls. You can see that there's platforms. The question is just, like, how do I get up there? And all he does is, like, stomp down, or he'll swing his club down. I think it's his club or his arm down at you.
He's got a club.
He'd be hanging at the club.
Up in the club, bottle full of bub.
Sipping on gin and juice. Yeah. But you have to get him to stomp on the ground, and it like raises the layer so you can climb on up. Yeah, this one's tricky.
Yeah, I remember in particular having a hard time when I first played the game, figuring out like what the hell are you supposed to do, and then you have all these like, the things on the side, and at first, you think like, okay, I gotta climb up there, but you have no idea how. And eventually you realize he's trying to hit you, and he gets his foot there, and they're like, oh, okay, it goes up, and that's how you get up. Okay, that makes more sense. And then it kind of just goes from there, where eventually you have to keep going up, and you're like, you run out of space, and you're like, wait, I can't go up any higher. But then he hits the arena, and then more blocks come down. Like, oh, okay, now you gotta climb up some more, and then it's just a fun fight in that sense of just like, figuring it out, and the more you go through it, the more stuff happens, and it adds to your understanding of how the fight works, and I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's pretty solid, and most of the fun comes from just figuring out like, the different phases of the fight.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, fun.
You clearly have a different opinion.
No, it's so much fun. No, it's fun. It's so much fun. I love it.
I like it where it seems like you're working with the Colossus at points. I like situations like that.
They're fun.
I think this fight would have been better for you if Agro was there.
Yeah.
I need that emotional support. You're right.
Aggro, give me strength.
Aggro, give me your strength.
Aggro, blow me a kiss.
Spirit bomb.
I always have a hard time with this guy, especially the hand part.
Yeah.
That is tricky to do. And it always kind of felt weird because it's like, well, if he wanted to kill me, he could just like
Yeah, he just like close his hand.
close
right?
his hand on me and I'd be dead.
That's it. That's it. That's the end of the game.
Shadow of Wander. GG, well played.
It'd be amazing if you like crawl into his hand and he just like puts you in his mouth and it's like, well,
I would.
But this guy also shows that like the most, this one and the one prior shows actual towns, which is cool. Like these are definitely cities to some capacity, and they're different cities too, which is cool. Like they're nothing alike. One's more lush and with nature, and this one is mostly stone and in the middle of some kind of canyon.
this guy, I think a lot of the colossi have been very natural in their environments. This guy's kind of threatening, you know. Like this guy seems like kind of like uninviting in this area.
Well, it's kind of interesting because if you think about it, like, what even is this guy's deal in this area?
Yeah,
like, he's like waiting for you. He's like hanging off the side of the cliff, and he's just like peekaboo. Like,
yeah, this is like the one that feels like he maybe shouldn't be here.
yeah, like the other ones, it feels like that's their home, and here it kind of feels like he's invaded it almost.
I don't know. I don't know if I get that sense because, like, I mean, even the bridges, you can see he fits under the bridges, so everything's
It's the
like
weapon.
proportioned.
I think it's the weapon that really sells it for me. That I'm like, why does he have this weapon?
Where did this come from? Who taught him swordsmanship? Who does his hair?
I think the thing that gets me feeling like it's not really his home is it's just the way that his entrance of just like climbing out from the cliff. It makes me feel like whatever was down there, that's where he usually hangs out. And,
I can see that.
You know, and then he decided to climb up, and you just caught him at the wrong moment.
And we call that fun.
So what if you fought him at the club?
With a bottle full of bub.
Yeah, that'd be
I don't
fun.
know. My boots don't have fur, so.
We good to go to the final one?
Yeah, whatever.
Absolutely.
This one's name is Minotaur C by the developers.
What's the
Real
fan name?
Fan name is
Argus.
Argus.
What's the Spencer name?
Guy at the club.
Lady Gaga, because look at that fucking dress, dude. Eccentric as hell.
All right. Number 6. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, before we move on to 16, just to confirm, Minotaur A was Valus. That was the first one. Minotaur B was Barba. That was the sixth one. That was the one that was in the ruins underground.
Yep.
And now Minotaur C, Argus.
This one, number 16, is by far the strangest. It kind of takes a complete turn on the whole idea of what the game has been.
Yeah.
It won't be the biggest turn, but it's a big turn from where it's been so far. This is Malice, given by the fans. It's the 16th, found atop a great mesa on the southernmost tip of the Forbidden Lands. Unlike the other 15 colossi, Malice lies beyond an area that is inaccessible until the previous 15 colossi are defeated.
Yes.
This one looks like a boss.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting, though. Like, the other colossi, you could conceivably go to their arenas before you actually are supposed to fight them. They won't be there for whatever reason. But you can like from moment one, you could technically go anywhere you want, except here. The game forces you to not come here.
Yeah, unless you want to go the rest of the game without a horse.
Do you think they're all playing? No. Do you think they're all playing poker or something? That's like where they're all going.
Yeah, they're like the dogs in that painting.
Yeah. Oh my god, I would love a version of that painting with the Colossus.
That'd be great. I would love that.
Worth noting, we do lose aggro at a certain point.
No!
So a really interesting thing about that is, apparently when Fumito Ueda was making the game, he didn't realize that people would become that attached to aggro at this point in the game. So that was what inspired The Last Guardian.
Mm.
In the words of my hero, Mega Man Zero, what am I fighting for?
But I always thought that was really interesting because it felt so intentional the way that you play the game. Aggro is such a pivotal part of the game. Aggro helps you get from location to location. Some of the colossi are unbeatable unless you have aggro with you. Aggro just feels like such a central part of the experience, you know. And
well, in the game, the game reinforces how lonely you are.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
it's
That
your only
most
real
of the game
companion,
is you by not by yourself, you with aggro. So there's really
Yeah,
only two
aggro's-
characters for 95% of the game.
Aggro's fucking Wilson from Castaway.
yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't ride Wilson.
Oh, don't challenge Alex.
Well-
Don't tempt me. Well, you know, because and I'm thinking about other games with horses and like Zelda. Like I'm not really that attached to Epona, but I think it's because there's so many other characters that I interact with. And this game, that's the only other, except for the fucking what's his name, the deity or whatever.
Dorman.
Dorman, thank you. And he just kind of shouts commands at you, like, reads you some Edgar Allan Poe.
And your girlfriend is dead.
Yeah, and your girlfriend's dead, which is
And the priest is a dick.
the thing. Yeah, it's like this is the only companion you have. So, I totally get it.
Not only that, but it's like I said before in the Zelda games, like Epona or even like horse in general are kind of like optional. Like you don't really, and you don't even get Epona until like the time skip. So like you don't really have as much time to get attached to Epona compared to aggro, where aggro is with you moment fucking one.
Mm-hmm.
So the relationship that you develop with aggro, which is reinforced by aggro being so pivotal and so core to the game experience, like when you lose aggro, like I that moment really stung for me, especially the first time I played the game. I was in complete shock.
When in the beginning of the game, Dorman says, "You can bring her back, but the cost will be great." This is when this happened, I was like, "Is this the moment?"
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah.
But what am I fighting for?
Oh my god! And it breaks my heart to press triangle after, and I do it every time. After aggro, falls, I press triangle and it's like there's nothing.
Oh wow!
It's like
I didn't even think to do that. Did you guys try jumping on that bridge without aggro?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. So when it happens, obviously you hold the sword and you shine the light on the door goes down, and then the sword is telling you to go across the bridge. So I was like, okay, I guess I do this by jumping. You jump and then the platform just collapses. I started all over. I was like, no, come on.
Yeah.
But obviously you need the speed with aggro. That was just epic scene.
Aggro.
Yeah, and then right afterwards, like the game sets the mood so fucking perfectly. It's like so dark and ominous, and it starts raining, and it's just this fucking moment where you're like, shit is really, not only is things about to end, but like, Wander's at his lowest moment. At this point, it's been like this slow progression, but Wander is visibly like very different, like dirty. He's, the horns are starting to grow out of his head. Like he's looking pretty gangly. He's not looking good, and everything, like the mood is so dark and foreboding, and it's like shit is getting real.
Yeah. Well, and
Just
just
stop playing.
Alex said, "I'm done.
I'm fucking. I'm out of here.
Killed my girlfriend." Like, no, you're still able to save Mona. He's like, "Oh yeah, Mona." Remember
Alex got the
Mona.
bad
Oh,
ending.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mona. Sorry, Mona.
Yeah, Alex got bad ending. Just didn't finish it.
No, I got the good ending. I never let Agro die.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
I got
that
to
for
the
a twist?
bridge and I stopped the game.
That's it.
Just getting to this guy is crazy. It's a lot of running through, dodging his blasters, and climbing up him is hard. It's like
His dress. His big dress. It's a dress.
it's a big dress,
Yeah.
basically. But it is like a whole platforming segment just to get to him, which is kind of neat.
If ever a Colossus was colossal, it was this one.
Yeah.
The
This
most
guy, you come up
Colossus.
there, he's firing goddamn fire bolts out of his hand. You don't have any room for error. You can't step one step on the battlefield without him just going, poof,
Yep.
you're done.
Yeah,
So
you
this
can't.
was-
You can't just like run around however you want. This guy will fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about actually scaling him. Once you finally
sure.
get to the point where you're on him, which takes enough time as it is.
Yeah.
This is one of the more interesting interacting with the Colossus to get on top of the Colossus. There's like shooting him in the shoulder, hitting him in the certain points. Did you guys figure this? Was it how hard was this for you guys to figure out?
So, shooting him on the shoulder, the very first time I played the game, that was the only time I used a guide because I didn't realize I could shoot his shoulder. I was so stuck at that moment. I was just like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? Like every other Colossus I was able to figure out, but that was the only time where I had to use a guide, and I was just like, I remember thinking like, how was I supposed to figure that out? And then I was like, oh yeah, I guess you could use the sword, because technically you can use the sword's light to show you weak points, and I had forgotten about it at that moment.
And it's incredibly frustrating because your stamina meter will run out as you're like up on top of him, and then you have to jump. You drop as far down as like you're gonna fall. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can grab on a ledge. You have to do the whole sequence over again.
Yes.
To ease the pain for this, I just made kind of like a push-up challenge out of it. So every time I would fall down, I do like 10 push-ups, then come back and redo it. I did, withstand managing to do this without the guide, but after just a long amount of frustration and figuring it out, when you jump like from hand to arm, you like crawl up the arm, and then he brings the other hand down. He keeps turning it up and down, and so it's like it's very hard to get your footing. And I realized, you can stab the hand, and then like the thing was like, how do I get to the shoulder? And then I realized like, you get it. Like maybe there's a way to do that. So I guess I fired the bow. I didn't even remember doing it, but. And then once you're on top of his head, that's it. It's done.
It's also worth noting, I think the PS4 version is a little bit more visually cueing you to it. I think the PS2 version was a little bit more like black because everything of that one was a lot darker, and they didn't like in the PS4 version. It's like got like animations coming out of where you're supposed to hit it, and it's like kind of bright.
Yeah,
yeah.
PS4 version has more of an indication of what you're supposed to do. I would say with this Colossus in particular, I had more fun getting to the Colossus than I did when I actually got to the Colossus.
The jumps like across, like the transition jumps when you're actually like scaling him from the top up, that's when the platforming just becomes excruciating. Trying to position it so that you're pointing backwards but you're not continuing to climb around him was just a real bitch to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so like soul crushing if you mess up and you fall down and you're just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like at the same time though, I still really like, maybe not the Colossus itself, but I really like the atmosphere. I love the music. Like I said, I really like getting to it, like the kind of like obstacle course sort of that you have to go through where you're like running under tunnels and stuff. Like all that stuff I think is really cool, and you're like rolling, dodging through the fire blasts and stuff. Like all of that is awesome. And I will at least say, like, even though scaling the Colossus itself isn't the most enjoyable part, when you get to take him down, it's one of the most satisfying ones
Yeah.
to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to binge aggro.
He killed aggro? You killed aggro.
It's like you.
Well, okay.
How dare you?
Technically, let's not get technical here.
Something that's really fucking funny though, and I recommend looking this up when you have a chance. But I think it's on the YouTube channel Team Stage Zero, but they have like the E3 demo of the game, and it shows them beating Malice. And since this was like, again, early development of the game, when you kill Malice in the final game, he kind of just like crumples, and then that's it. But in the E3 version, they hadn't like put that in the game yet, so he just like flops over. It's fucking hilarious. I'm glad they changed it for the final game because it wouldn't have
I'm
looked
not.
right.
He wants the flop.
But
I
like
love
when you see it, it's just fucking funny. Just
I love a
look
good
it up.
flop.
He's just like, he's just like, eat shit.
I like this boss. My only problem, and it's not really a problem, it's just more of a question, is that all the other Colossi were like basically innocent. Maybe some were more aggressive, but they were also guarding something. So you could kind of understand their point. But and you kind of feel bad in retrospect. But this one is a fucking asshole. Like this one's
it's
like the devil.
This one feels like a boss.
Yeah.
It feels so fitting as the final Colossus because he's like looking down at you and he's like, "You come to me?"
And in saying that, Spencer, I think if this boss didn't feel this way, we'd be kind of disappointed, right?
Yeah, but that's why I'm not saying it's bad. I just have questions because if this is this is like the final boss, then what is Dorman? Like what's the difference? Because this would be like what I would assume Dorman is like some ultimate evil entity.
Well, I mean, this is, if you sequence it, and this is the last one, I mean, this is revenge for all the other ones you took down. And
yeah,
I mean, in that sense, there could be some resentment. In the other ones, I guess you're like, you're going on their territory. But in this one, it's like, this is the final arena.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I think it's pretty clear that like each Colossus holds a piece of Dorman, and once you kill them and the black tendrils get inside of you, that is Dorman going inside of Wander, and it's now using Wander as a host instead. So whatever the essence that represents Dorman in each of these Colossus is now being encompassed by Wander. And I'm guessing like Malice is like I guess most of whatever was left of Dorman.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like everything else was the normal, and then this is the evil part, just bottled up, and it's
Wander is the villain, confirmed.
Kind of.
He is, of course. He's definitely
Every
breaks
game.
the
Every
spell.
fucking game, dude.
But this was at a time when that wasn't the norm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like
now it's kind of a meme.
yeah,
Well, like
yeah.
for some of the Colossus, like it does kind of make you feel bad, and it does make you go like, it doesn't feel good to take down these guys. They're just, most of them are just chilling.
One day we're just taking a bath. Dude. Just taking a
Yeah.
bath.
They're just minding their own business. They're just like, hey man, I'm just in my little arena doing whatever. Some of them are aggressive and attack you on sight, but most of them are just like, I'm just flying around. What are you hitting me for?
Can you imagine if you're just taking a bath and some little dude climb up your body and stab you in the stomach?
Or in this case, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
And I remember this old Penny Arcade comic from a long time ago where the Colossus were talking to each other. He's like, did you hear that some dude is like killing us by hitting us in our special spots? And they're like, are you serious, dude? He's hitting us where?
Some dude. I don't know where he's from.
Where's the
I don't know, it's just
wanderer?
some dude.
Alaska.
Dude, I told you
This-
humans don't exist.
Some dude named Wanda.
Why is he hitting us there? Doesn't he know?
Just we're gonna die.
That'd be awful if your like weak spot was glowed. It'd be terrible.
I have a question.
Okay.
No.
What's up?
All right, this one's for Spencer and Daniel. Alex, no. So do you
I
guys,
answered you.
His
That
answer,
didn't ask a
his answer,
question.
his answer to whatever your question is
Yeah,
no.
whatever you have to say is no.
That's
do you think this game would have worked if, maybe with the exception of the last Colossus, all 15 were on the map at the same time, and you could kind of do this in a more open-ended way, maybe even without the sword and shining the light to figure out where they are?
Yeah,
No.
I think so.
I think so. I would prefer it if it was like a separate mode of sorts.
I think that should be New Game Plus.
Well, I think it would kind of hinder the progression, though. I think there's a sense of progression with the puzzle solving and the scale of some of the fights that would be lost upon that. I think, yeah, maybe it feels like a New Game Plus or something. Maybe you can go back afterwards and do that way. But I think first time through, no, there's no way.
Yeah, that's why I suggested like a new mode of sorts, because like I feel like the order of the Colossus is very intentional, and it does a, like we were talking about with, especially with some of the earlier ones, it's a matter of like teaching you like, okay, this one is teaching you how to climb, stamina management, archery, using aggro, being aware of your environments, being aware of the behavior of the Colossus, all that stuff. So I would say like after you beat the game, it could be like an extra mode that unlocks, and with exception to Malice, I'd say that'd be perfectly fine.
My pushback to that, as it being locked only for a New Game Plus, is I think there's a whole missed opportunity here in terms of exploration. You would already know where all those colossi are located.
Yeah, but what happened if you stumbled upon one of the really hard ones and you don't really get some of the basic concepts of the game yet?
Yeah,
I
some
think
of that would need to be accounted for sure. But I think the first one is just so easy to find as it is. It's just directly in front of you. The other one's right behind you.
Yeah.
By that point, don't you have the majority of what you need?
I just feel like you would have to scale down some of the fights so that they're almost all on some sort of equal footing.
Yeah,
Well,
because
the thing is that it's a missed opportunity in terms of exploration. It's because it is pretty much just even though you don't have arrows pointing you where to go, you just hold your sword up at any time. You're going to do it because it's a feature that's given to you.
Well, the thing is though, like as you defeat the Colossus, it's kind of a subtle effect, but like your health and your grip meters do increase over time, and the fights are like scaled with that in mind. So like if you tried to fight one of the harder ones with like the default amount of health and grip, you wouldn't be able to.
I disagree in terms of health.
Like equal level, they have to like scale them all down to be somewhat.
But most of these colossi aren't even lethal to you. Well, they're lethal,
stamina
but like
would be very hard.
The stamina for sure, but I mean that could be accounted for. What if it was like one central stamina rating?
Well, like with some of them, like let's say if you tried to fight Phalanx, and Phalanx is like super high up in the air. Like maybe Phalanx isn't necessarily all that lethal, but if you fall off with like the default amount of health, that'd probably kill you right away.
I just think there's an opportunity for this to be an open-ish kind of world where you really do get to explore and make the terrain your own, as opposed to going on one set path.
I agree that I would still like seeing the Colossus in their natural environment, even when it's not time to fight them, because then I can be like, oh, cool, I can't wait to come back and kill that guy. Something I say every day. But I do think the order is so important, though.
I see what you're saying, but the problem with making something open-ended like that is you run the risk of the problem where, okay, well, if players can access the content all at the same time, then that means that the difficulty of it needs to be accounted for, and that typically means dumbing things down, right?
Well, yeah,
it typically means
that's what I was saying.
What about this? What if Dorman kept the order, like he kept telling you which order to go in, and the light still shown you the one that he wanted you to fight, but they still left the others available to get to, so you could be like, oh, I'm going to challenge myself and grab one of these.
So I just said, like they still be out, like out in the wild, but they still have an order though.
But you implied that you couldn't kill him.
Oh, well,
I think
that's not what I
you
meant.
could still be
I meant,
able
like,
to
you
kill
still
him.
I think
that's not what I meant. You could still be able to kill
still
him.
see them. You know, like, they're still
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Kind of like the first Zelda.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
There is a suggested order, and it tells you, hey, this is the first level, this is the second level. But technically, you can go in whatever order you want.
Light this bush on fire. I'm an old man in the cave. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I see that. I could see that working. That
think
could be a
that's
way
what-
that they could do it.
I think that's what they're going to do with Elden Ring as well. They said in an interview that there's going to be a suggested order of how you're supposed to approach certain dungeons and areas, but that technically you can go about it however you want.
Cool.
I'd say that could work, yeah.
Are you ready to end the game?
Send it.
All
Give me
right.
credits, baby.
All right, you go back to the base, and Mono, whatever her name is, wakes up, and you guys have a happy life at the end, and you get married, and there's this really cool wedding scene where
No.
Not-
Let me retell it. You go back and you actually find out that Mono doesn't come back, but your true love comes back, Agro. You guys get
Yep.
married, and you guys live a happy life and make little
that
horse
was it.
babies.
Sorry, I can't
No,
believe I missed that.
don't get your horse fetish mixed up in this. You come back and you're blue. I'm blue. Abba dee baba da, dabba dee dabba 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 dee baba die.
Now listen up. Here's a story about a little guy that lives in a blue world, and all day and all night.
And my
Daniel,
girlfriend's
everything-
blue and my horse is blue. And even blue is Dorman too.
I wish my cup was blue.
Daniel, are any of us correct?
No, you're all very wrong.
Oh.
You tell it.
Okay, so after defeating Malice, Wander is presumably dead. He's just like laying there, and then his body is being risen up and then teleported back to the main temple. As this is happening, and as has been alluded to throughout the game, Lord Iman and his cronies have figured out that Wander stole the sword and has come to the Forbidden Lands. They finally reach there, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? They see that Mono was taken there, and they're like, what is she doing here? And then that's when Wander is teleported, and they're like, dude, this is not cool. We need to take care of this. And they try to kill him, but then, really cool detail, because Wander's clothing has like a design on it that looks similar to the design of the sigils on the Colossus. He gets stabbed right in that design, and then the black blood starts coming out just like the Colossus.
Yeah.
So after that, Iman is like, what the fuck, dude? What did you do? And then that's when you transform, and Dorman is like, I'm back, bitches. Bet you didn't see this coming.
back again.
Back at the club.
Dorman's back.
Party, Colossi party.
Back in black. I hit the sack.
And
And that's
I'm glad to be back.
And what's really cool is in that moment you get to play kind of as one of the Colossus, and you're trying to, you can breathe fire and you can like smack them, but they're kind of programmed so that they have like infinite health. They can't actually die. And in that moment, what's up?
Oh, I just said it's whack.
Oh, you wanted
It's
to
whack.
kill
You
him?
could be this big ass demon beast with every last Colossus, destroyed, so you could reform, and you can't even take out a couple puny humans.
Yeah, but I think what's really cool in that moment is you kind of realize that the Colossi actually have been at a disadvantage this entire time.
Yeah.
Because they're so big and lumbering, and you're so small and quick, and you can just like run around. They feel really imposing as Wander when you're fighting them. But now that you have the difference of perspective, you realize, man, it's really hard to get these little fuckers.
Mm.
After that, Iman is like, time to do some Naruto jutsu. He casts a spell and he seals away the Forbidden Lands forever. And he's like, dude, maybe one day you can be forgiven, but peace, we're out. So he leaves, destroys the bridge behind him, and you have like this vain attempt at trying to like run away, but there's like this vortex sucking you in, and afterwards, turns out Mono does come back, and so does Agro. Agro's still alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Alex
Got
liked
it.
that part.
Horse has got a bit of a limp, but very interesting thing to note in this moment. Mono does not recognize the horse. When Mono sees the horse, you would think if she and Wander were like an item, she'd go, "Holy shit, that's Wander's horse." But she doesn't react that way. She doesn't go, "Oh my god, it's you." She's just kind of like, "Oh, it's a horse," which kind of brings the question like, what really was the nature of the relationship between these two? She goes over, sees that Wander is now a baby with little horns, which is actually alluding to Aiko. Wander is, in fact, the first child with horns that eventually becomes like its own thing in Aiko. Wander is the ancestor of the main character of Aiko. And the two kind of just live together, and that's the ending of the game. Wander and Mono are together, and they're just going to live in the Forbidden Lands.
And Agro's back. Agro is back, baby.
Yeah, what a genius ending.
Spin-off game, Agro's Crazy Adventure.
It is so. I don't know. It's very creative because it's like you just got down from this rush, this high of like you just took down the mightiest, craziest Colossus, and everything was epic up to this point. And what are you rewarded with? Horns and and a blue skin and all of that. And so it's just it just turns the game on its head. And this whole time you think you've been doing the right thing, and now you're left to question. Is this right?
No, yeah, definitely. It does make you think. Like, it brings a question the nature of Wander's morality, and I don't want to reference myself too much, but like in my video, I kind of bring that up of like I think it's more that Wander is obsessed. I don't really think that he was doing this out of any sort of moral goodness. I think he had an obsession with Mono, clearly an unhealthy one. Either not being able to move on from her death, maybe the nature of his relationship with her may have been something more toxic, something more insidious. We don't really know, but there is a lot of his character that is inferred, and we don't really have the concrete details to really say one way or the other. You kind of have to make up your own mind about him.
And I think what's cool is that we're placed in media res, really. I mean, we're placed probably in Act 2 somewhere of the story, maybe even Act 3.
Yeah, they Tarantino'd this bitch.
They Tarantino'd without the rest of the movie.
Yeah, without the rest of the movie.
So
yes,
so it's like because they're like they mention when they quit like, oh, that's the sword that you stole. I see you stole that sword. It's like there's a whole adventure there that we're just clearly he stole that sword.
That we're not privy to.
Genius. Any other company or publisher would like make here's the prequel, how he got the sword and what it would just ruin it all. George Lucas would shit all over this, but it's
CGI fucking it's Colossus.
But it's the fact that it drops you in, and most games, I think at this time especially, most games started you out. You're the hero with the sword, and it's like that's cut and dry. So you're thinking, oh, it's cut and dry. I'm the hero. I'm the guy with the sword. My job is to take out these monsters, and it kind of turns everything on its head and makes you really think about that.
Yeah. Well,
You guys didn't play Dynasty Warriors 30, Wanda's quest for the sword?
Oh, is that what establishes how he got it?
That's a good joke. That was a good joke, Teddy.
Thanks, Alex. Actually, it's real serious. I don't know if you played it yet.
Imagine playing a Muso Shadow of the Colossus game and like
just one character.
You just slay like hundreds of Colossus.
Yeah.
There's two characters, Wander and Agro.
Well, and I like that Daniel mentioned that he also she also didn't really recognize Aggro at all. So there's even an act in the story where Aggro and Wander met. Maybe he stole Aggro too. We don't know, but there's that whole thing too. Like we just don't know these things, and we just have to piece together what information we have.
Yeah, like I'm of the opinion because, like, again, I think the relationship between Wander and Aggro seems a little too close for it to be like he just stole the horse recently. Because, like,
Yeah.
It wouldn't.
You know,
it wouldn't obey its commands. But I did read that they did program it so that if you call the horse, it won't always come to you, or if you try and move a direction, it won't always go in the direction you want it to go. But they had to do it within reason.
So yeah, like you know, if they would have gone back and explained all this shit, it would ruin it.
Yeah,
I just don't know that she should have had a reaction upon waking up. I mean, if you're revived from the dead, are you going to be like, "Oh, my horse"?
We also don't know that she's dead. It's
Yeah,
like
true.
it's implied.
Oh, it could be a curse or something.
Yeah.
too.
There's like a
But
million things that could be.
She could just had mono.
She could have had
Bad case of mono
as
right
Alex
there.
is.
yeah, no stereo.
She can't hear shit. Not at a right ear.
So like,
And yeah, not only that, but like if she is dead, we don't know how long it's been since she passed away. We don't know if it's recent. We don't know if she was buried and he dug up the grave. We have no idea.
You just found a dead girl. She's like, shit, she's hot.
Maybe
I got nothing to do today. Let's go revive her.
Maybe Wander's a necrophiliac.
Well, if he was, then he wouldn't revive her.
that's true.
You know what? That's a good point.
He would just be endlessly fucking her.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he
That's
takes her to
the,
that temple and he's like, to get her back, you have to kill. It's like, no, I just need some alone
I'm
time.
good.
I just need a private place.
They wouldn't shut
Somewhere
up.
where nobody else will come.
Yeah.
Threesome with the horse.
Oh, okay. You keep adding that in, Alex. I don't,
It's my only joke this episode.
That's unique
All
to
I got.
his
All I got
reading,
is that.
his analysis.
I just want to say, Alex keeps adding in horse fucking jokes.
This is going to be the only episode with the horse jokes. So
He's-
I have to get them all out now.
You know that we're going to do a Shadow of the Colossus movie, and it was going to predominantly be about the stuff that happened before the events of the game.
No.
Yeah.
You're lying. No. I don't want
Yeah. I don't want it either. I didn't read the script, but I heard some of it, and it sounded fucking terrible.
it. Who's going to play Wander? Brendan Fraser is Wander.
I want Brendan Fraser now to play Wander.
I want to play as Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Wander as Brendan Fraser.
If they did it now, it'd probably be Tom Holland.
Seth
Melissa
Rogen
Mc-
as Aggro.
Melissa McCarthy voices Aggro.
All right, so this final thoughts on Shadow of the Colossus.
Fuck yeah.
Masterpiece.
I love it.
Fucking
What-
masterpiece.
One
It's
of the best,
beautiful.
one of the best games of all time.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it's barely even a game.
It's visually stunning, amazing music, a great environmental storytelling, very subtle, very subdued. It's filled to the brim with creative and inventive ideas. It's got fun gameplay, and it's also an emotional roller coaster where whether it's like fighting the Colossus, being tense from fighting them, being afraid of them, being sorry for them, like this is one of the greats in my opinion. Just I can't say enough good things about it.
I always look at this game as an example of how a video game should tell a story. I think a lot of games, and I kind of want to bring it up at the Roger Ebert point when you were talking about that, but I think it suits better here, is that I think a lot of games try to tell a story by being a movie, and they kind of just give up on the game part, and they're just like, we'll just tell it in a cutscene. Whereas Shadow of the Colossus does an amazing job of giving you a video game story where most things are told just through the actions of the characters and their reactions and visual, like you said, visual storytelling, like the environment. There are cutscenes. They almost don't need them. You don't have to have those cutscenes. You could even take them out and it would still make sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is how you should tell a story in a game. Most people won't because it seems to be very difficult to. But this is
I
probably
think
how you
there's
should.
also I think there's also that like temptation to like over-explain things.
Yeah.
That a lot of stories are like, and that's not even necessarily a bad thing because really lore-intensive stories can work. You know, most MMOs have very lore-intensive stories, and that works for them. But like for Shadow of the Colossus, it being so subdued, so subtle, and you have to infer everything on your own, and it being also just open to interpretation. Not everything is set in stone. You know, you can see it as Mona and Wander were lovers, or you can see it that, you know, Wander is just this crazy obsessed guy that, you know, is grave robbing and trying to bring back this body of a girl that didn't even know he existed.
Well, that's kind of like the beauty of video games is that like you know, amongst all different media, like video games give you the chance to experience the story yourself instead of it being told to you. So I really appreciate games like that. One of my favorite games of all time, which me and Spencer did a podcast on recently, was Nier. And
Yes!
Nier is
Great!
also in the same sense.
You know what? You're my guy for that.
I fucking love Nier. And there is, you know, that game doesn't. There's parts where they do tell the story a little bit, but a lot of the story in that game is left up to interpretation. There's elements of the game that are never explained. We're explained in fucking interviews and stuff, and I love it because, you know, it kind of lets you piece together yourself, lets you kind of experience yourself, you know. And I think more games need to do that. I think games that try to over-explain the plots can get a little messy. I love Metal Gear. Don't get me wrong. I love the first 3 Metal Gear games are great. Metal Gear Solid 4 is the shit show because 4 realized that they've been telling this movie plot and they're going to have to somehow weave it together, and they can't just be like, oh, it's interpretation at this point because they've been holding your hand the whole time. So now they have to over-explain fucking everything. It's terrible. So yeah, I mean, this game's genius.
I forget who said it, but like I remember someone said after they beat Metal Gear Solid 4, they said, I don't know if Kojima is mad, a genius, or a mad genius.
Yeah, he's a mad genius. That's the one.
I don't think this game could have been told any other way. I know there's ways you can tinker around with it. You know, I did entertain the thought about, you know, having every Colossus on the stage at one time, which would add a level of realism and exploration that isn't currently realized in the way that it's told. And I think it really is masterful in its telling in all aspects, in terms of just hidden subtle cues, in terms of music, in terms of even just the intro scene before you even start the game, in terms of how everything segues. It really is just a beautiful story that you have to figure out. I think a lot of games try and play this as a cover, like, oh, we left it open-ended so you can figure it out, so this is a work of art. But I've played those kind of games too, and sometimes they just like there's nothing substantive for you to really grapple onto in the first place. Okay, cool. Like I always go back to Journey. Great, you can crawl up the mountain. So what? You know, like you know, your gameplay still sucks. But I think that it's minimalist to the point with enough cues for you to be engaged and interested, even to the point where even though every Colossus is simply an artifice and, you know, just kind of a facade for a larger picture, they were still so memorable, more so in terms of gameplay and stuff, but it's still your adventure. It's still your journey. Everybody's is very unique in spite of it being very streamlined. And I'm glad I got to experience it even in the modern day. I think it's testament that, you know, this game has held up to this day.
Totally agree.
It good game.
It's the good game.
Mad TV, Miss Swan. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
Well, Daniel.
It looking like a game.
It looking like a game.
Well, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us. This is quite the adventure. I think it's almost as long as a speed run of the game itself.
Oh my god! might be long. This is a long episode. I didn't think we'll go on this long about this game. I was like, oh yeah, we'll sweep through all the Colossi. No, fuck, dude, we've been for a while. Save
the tier list for next time.
Yeah.
Honestly, we'd probably keep talking about it if we wanted to, because this game is so deep. Honestly, like it's one of my favorite games for a reason. You know, like it's just there's so much to it.
We might need another bathroom break for that.
Join us next time. Join us next time on Last Guardian, where we babysit the giant Chihuahua.
We keep Alex away from it.
I still,
No, it's not a horse.
I still need to play it.
I'm never making a horse joke again. That's just what I was going.
So, Alex, what's your zodiac sign?
What am I don't know. I don't know.
All right,
It's
well,
not a horse.
take it easy, guys.
Thanks for mapping.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.